Former Georgia star defensive tackle Jaylen Carter, one of the top prospects in next month's NFL draft, has been charged in the January 15th crash that killed offensive lineman Devin Willock and recruiting staff member Chandler LaCroix. Carter faces misdemeanor counts of reckless driving and racing. The crash occurred hours after the Bulldogs championship parade. Carter said he intends to return to Athens to answer the charges and expects to be fully exonerated. NBA power forward Kevin Durant will make his Phoenix debut tonight against the Hornets. Expect a smooth transition for Durant with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and the rest of the Suns, believes ESPN's Monica McNutt.
I do think that the relationship between Book, CP3, and Kevin Durant, as far as their Olympic team experience, will expedite this process. And we know that KD is a seamless basketball player. Give him an offense, give him a chance to grasp the offense and his teammates' tendencies. Insert, you have buckets.
KD, coming back from a knee injury, will be on a minutes restriction tonight. The Lakers have ruled out Anthony Davis against the Thunder tonight due to a right foot stress injury.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
On ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That gets you into the chat with us each and every day. And a happy Wednesday.
And we got 2 days worth of stuff to catch up with you. We weren't here yesterday. We apologize for that. Had a event to attend.
Yes.
So appreciate all of your patience with that. But we're back, and I'm fired up.
You are.
When am I not?
I was going to say, just on fire for Christ
Do you ever just look at me and go, man, there's not a lot of energy coming from that guy today?
I mean, you do have your days. Everybody's got their days.
He doesn't have anything to be angry at today.
Oh, you've always got something to be angry
Correct.
at. You're a Jets fan. You always have something to be angry at. Like the fact that all the talk, it seems like in the last couple of days, at least from what I've been seeing, is that you're going to strike out on all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
The New York Jets will make it happen for you.
And it's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo either. Can we stop with that?
Well. We shall see. Let's just kick off this Wednesday edition of the program here with the opening drive.
Well,
yep.
I got nothing.
And the opening drive always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Check them out at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to tell them that the Sportsocracy sent you. Mention the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on top of whatever your trade-in is worth, whether you're in the market for a certified used vehicle, certified pre-owned, like my 2017 Rogue, which treats me fantastic each and every day. Just had that bad boy shined up today. She looks beautiful. But I will say this, not to denigrate my new car. It does kind of pale in comparison to the massive 2023 Nissan Titan that's sitting right next to it.
Pro 4X. It's brand new.
Old cherry red.
I'm not going to lie. That one may not make its way back. I like that one a lot.
Hey, Jeremy's already fallen in love.
Oh, it's got all the bells and whistles. You open the door and the little running board lights up and says Titan on the side. It's very me.
Yes,
it's very loud.
It's got all the high tech things that make Jeremy happy, and then of course the red.
Well, you get the fire engine red paint scheme, which I very easily could put an ESPN logo on. Not saying I've already thought about that, but I haven't.
The red pickup truck that matches your mullet.
Yes. Big red driving big red.
629 Brevard Road is the address. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. So today on the program, we have continuing off-season coverage as we will talk about the position groups in free agency in the NFL for the interior offensive lineman and the defensive interior.
So we're talking about the interior today.
Yes.
Much like the camel interior of the rug that I just had.
Oh,
See what I did there?
Good for you.
Just let's go. 2 days off. I'm here. I'm here for it.
Still rolling through the team by team off-season previews. We got today. Talk about the Seattle Seahawks and my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't do it. This is not going to be. It's not going to be fun. We've got quarterback news involving both teams that we'll get to later on in the program. Plus, a segment that has become a favorite here in the Sportsocracy. It's called Mocking the Mocks. And Mel Kiper went full, 2/5 of Jack Daniels before breakfast yesterday?
No, I'm telling you right now, I drink on a daily basis. There is not an amount of alcohol on this planet that would get you to Will McDonald IV at 8.
So we'll mock the mocks with Mel Kiper, and also there's quite a hilarious one that was posted up on CBS earlier today by Jeff Trapasso. So we'll get into that as well as we mock the mocks. Derek Carr met with the Carolina Panthers. David Tepper in on the meeting. So, of course, all the rumors are flying as that might be a sign as to where the Carolina Panthers are going to go with their quarterback position this offseason. And then
there's the A story of the day.
Yeah, you can't get around this. When a guy who could be the number one pick in the NFL draft has warrants out for his arrest, you have to take notice. And that player is defensive tackle from Georgia, Jaylen Carter, who apparently, according to police, may have been racing his teammate when he was
Chandler
killed.
LaCroix.
Yeah. Chandler LaCroix was the recruiting staffer
that's right.
that was killed. She was driving the car, and claimed in that crash was offensive lineman Devin Willock. They were both killed in the crash. Jaylen Carter, it's weird. It's weird to me in this day and age that we can have this much time pass between an event and still leaked details like, I don't know, the star player on the defense who's going to be the number one pick of the draft was on the scene of the crash the entire time. We had not known that until today when police issued warrants for Jaylen Carter's arrest. He has been charged with reckless driving and racing in conjunction with a crash that, of course, killed the teammate and the recruiting staff member.
Go ahead. Ask me the question I've been asked all day. If you listen to other shows, I guarantee
going to affect his draft? It seems like this is the worst thing the worst first question that you should have. But of course, this is the question that we have: how is this going to affect the draft stock of Jaylen Carter?
Based off what I know right now, and that is all I can comment on. And if you listen to other shows, there is a high probability this is not the first time you're hearing my voice today. It probably doesn't, if you want me to be honest. Because you are 2 months away from 7 weeks away from when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I told you when the wreck happened, and you can verify this. The people in our group chat can verify this. When this wreck happened, I was specifically told there is more to this than you know. I thought it was about Georgia. So I thought this was going to come out that the staffer and the player weren't supposed to be in the car, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up this morning to 5 missed calls, which is very abnormal for me at 7:30 in the morning. And I started piecing the puzzle pieces together of, this is not what I thought it was.
Well, look, I don't think the school is the school's got a lot to deal with this anyway.
No
because
doubt.
It was a car. It was a recruiting staff car that they were in. And so this is going to have a backlash on that end of it.
No doubt. But here's what I will say. I know we have become very cynical as people when it comes to high-level athletes and celebrities and them getting away with things that they shouldn't. We're pretty connected with cops. Asheville Police Chief David Zach's one of our closest friends. My best friend on this planet is a cop, and I will tell you exactly what was told to me this morning. If the only thing he was charged with was reckless driving and street racing, he didn't have a whole lot of an involvement.
Mm-hmm.
The way they figured this out is that his story became very inconsistent, and eventually, I don't know. What it appears is that they were both going entirely too fast. It appears that they may have been racing each other. Now, what does this do to his draft stock? I don't think really anything.
I really don't think so either.
I mean, and I know it sounds bad, but I am here to just tell you the truth of the situation. He was charged with 2 misdemeanors. He has already left Indianapolis. He flew out. If he hasn't flown out already, he will be doing so in the next couple hours. To go back to Athens, address this. He claims he will be exonerated. I don't see this having a massive effect. Is there a possibility that if the Chicago Bears stick at 1 or the Arizona Cardinals are the first team to take a defensive player at 3, that you would then go Will Anderson instead of Jaylen Carter? Maybe.
I think likely.
I can't go that far.
I think it would be likely that he's not the first defensive player off the board because it's close with Will Anderson.
Well, I mean, here's what I want to say definitively. I caught a lot of people that wanted to attack Todd McShay for saying that Jaylen Carter had character issues. Hey, guess what? I told you the exact same thing. And this actually panders more into what I heard than what McShay said. He's an immature kid that makes bad decisions. Mm-hmm. That's what people lose in these stories, and it drives me crazy. Yes, something very bad happened. You have to remember this is a 21-year-old kid. All right, I want you to take every stupid thing you did at 21 years old and just compartmentalize that and then tell me that this kid deserves to have his life ruined because of a stupid decision.
I mean, look, when I look back on some of the decisions that I made, and I wasn't even like Jeremy Greene, wild child.
I was.
Like, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't even that, but even when I look at some of the decisions that I made when I was younger, I'm pretty fortunate that nobody either, got hurt or, seriously injured or whatever in some of the decisions that I made. 21-year-old kid just won the national championship for the second year in a row, was out partying, and him and some buddies decided to go street racing. Is it the greatest of ideas? No. Does it show some sort of malicious, evil intent on the part of this 21-year-old kid? No.
No, and I've heard a lot of vilifying him. I've heard a lot of this is a bad situation. But here's there were two other people in the car, or there were 3. Were there 3?
There were 3 in the other car.
He didn't force anybody to do anything.
Right.
That's just that's the way it is. It's a bad decision. It's going to be the number one thing that every team that talks to Jaylen Carter is going to ask him. Mm-hmm. In your 15-minute interview with the Combine, this is going to get at least 5 minutes with every team he talks to. Mm-hmm. But do I think he's going to end up in jail? No, I don't. Because 7 weeks later, you came back with 2 misdemeanors. That's I mean, facts don't care about your feelings.
Right. I feel like
that's the way it is.
Right. If they could have charged him with something more severe, they probably would.
They somehow kept this completely quiet for 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to tell me that there's going to be more on the backside than there is right now. I struggle to believe that. Mm-hmm. And maybe I just know too much about how police things work. I'm too close to too many police officers, and they tell me things like this. Mm-hmm. If you're going to have something like this break, you're going to get as much as you're going to get the day it breaks. That's where you're at. So, I mean, and I will say I still think he winds up at 4 of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. Could more information come out? Absolutely. That's one of the hard parts of our jobs is that we have to comment on something that happened at 10 o'clock this morning, knowing only what you know out of an AP article and what I have been able to uncover over the course of the last 5 hours. Mm-hmm. And that's not much. They were on the road together. They were both making poor decisions when it came to driving. The driver of the car had I think it was .197. So, horrible decisions were made here. Mm-hmm. Something horrible happened. Mm-hmm. Do I think this is going to be that I heard somebody earlier say Jaylen Carter's not even going to get drafted? Yeah, he will.
Oh, absolutely, he will.
Yeah, he will. This is a young kid making a very bad decision, and I would wager it's probably I don't know the specifics, but I would say it is haunting him right now. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to say much more than that.
Right.
And I'm getting a lot of why is this coming out now? The timing of the Combine is ironic, I think, to a point. There's also a layer of you have to understand how deep these teams go. half the teams in the NFL employ either FBI, former investigators with the FBI, or people. You're not going to hide this forever.
Right.
So what I think is probably the most likely is one of these teams found this out, and it accelerated the police department okay, so now we have to do what we do because this is coming out one way or the other.
Colin Greene asked in the YouTube comments, why the hell is the staff member racing at 2 a.m.? The staff member was also a student.
Yes.
This is not like a recruiting, I don't know, like manager or something was out there. This was an assistant on the recruiting staff who was also, I think she was a junior, might have been a senior.
Well, she's 24 years old.
At UGA. So this wasn't – she was out with the guys, basically. This was not like a recruiting trip or anything like that. So, I mean, again, all young people involved, all young people making bad decisions when alcohol is involved.
Well, there are a ton of bad decisions.
It's a sad situation, absolutely.
There are a ton of bad decisions here. Do I think this is going to lead to – one of the mocks that you told me earlier had him at 18. I just don't – what I know right now, I can't go that far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that happening. What little information I've been able to uncover is it just looks like an unfortunate accident where two kids made a bad decision. And Jaylen Carter was in his own car.
Yeah. He was. He was in his own car. He saw the other one crash. He was on the scene as they were investigating the other crash. I think the thing that I'm most surprised about is that it was January 15th when this crash happened, and we're just now finding out that possibly the number one pick in the draft was on the scene of the crash.
And my retort to that would be, you would be dumbfounded how many things in college towns can be kept quiet if you want them to be.
Absolutely. Look at the look at the Brandon Miller thing at Alabama. I mean, obviously that didn't stay a secret for, I guess, as long as this did.
It was about the same amount of time.
Was it about the same amount of time?
But he is making arrangements to turn himself in.
Mm-hmm.
He says he will be fully exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. And as we know more, we will tell you more.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March the 2nd through the 6th for the 2023 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite teams compete for the championship and a berth to the NCAA tournament. Get your discounted tickets to the 2023 Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships today at your local neighborhood Ingles Market. For more information, visit SoConHoops.com. That's SoConHoops.com.
Have your outdoors and running water, too, with Luxury Lou, the tasteful solution to portable bathroom rentals. Family-owned and local, Luxury Lou Rental provides modern bathrooms on the go with running water, AC and heating, flushable toilets, and elegant designs. Luxury Lou's are perfect for weddings, corporate events, remodels, and more. Don't leave your well-dressed guests to use a dirty porta-potty John.
Ew.
Turn to Asheville natives. Luxury Lou. Visit LuxuryLousRental.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cott?
Back in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville, the off-season free agency previews continue. Class by class.
We are 2 weeks away from the start of NFL free agency, and I'm here for it.
We've done just about every position group. I think this is the last set here that we'll do today.
And we also had a big addition to – that's the bad thing about doing these as early as we are. We had a huge addition to the wide receiver group of free agents. Kenny Golladay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a $75 million receiver right there.
Was at one time.
Well, it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now he's like a $7.5 million receiver for 5 years.
I was going to say, not all in 1 year.
No.
You won't get me for that. Interior offensive lineman. It's not the sexiest of the groups, but it is obviously
That's
very
a nice
important.
way of saying really, really, really lacks a name you've ever heard of. Roger Saffold, who was probably the worst offensive lineman for the Buffalo Bills this year. That's your high side. That's why we put it into this little itty-bitty segment.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot to talk about here.
So is he your number one?
I can't say he's my number one, but he's pretty high. Dalton Risner's my one, who also had issues with Denver, and I don't really think he's going to make it out on the market. You get a lot of – this is what happens with interior linemen. When you don't have a Brandon Sheriff like you had last year, you get a lot of guys that you see their name and go, oh, yeah, that was a first-round pick. Garrett Bradbury of the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
He would be high to me. I've never understood Minnesota's – they just harp on him, and I don't get it. Nothing suggests that they should.
Well, I mean, you've talked about how he's not what he should have been.
No.
Before.
He's also not the problem.
I mean, I would agree with that.
This year was Ed Ingram, who was awful. But I mean, you get a lot of depth pieces. I mean, are there a lot of high end? No, you get a lot of guys like Saffold, who I mentioned earlier, Justin Pugh, Trey Turner.
Mm-hmm.
These like 30-plus-year-old going to get a 1-year deal guards that come in and people get excited about them every year, and then they churn and burn. They'll be 30 in the NFL in terms of where they rate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens.
Isaac Seumalo.
He will probably end up on a different team.
From the Philadelphia Eagles, PFF has him ranked as the number one interior offensive lineman on the board for free agency.
Yeah, and here's what I will say about that. This is not a slight at him by any stretch of the imagination. When you're on a line with Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata,
mm-hmm.
and Landon Dickerson,
mm-hmm.
that tends to make you look really, really good, even if you're just really, really kind of good. He's the guy I think winds up getting some stupid deal, and 2 years from now we go, how in the world did the Chicago Bears think that was a good idea?
Because he was
Chicago,
on a generational offensive line.
Yeah, Chicago, this is not going to be a good day for you. I'm sorry.
Is it ever a good day for them in the Sportsocracy?
Is it ever a good day for them, period?
It's a fair question as well.
Although this is a good day.
No, what?
I mean, you don't have to deal with Lori Lightfoot anymore, so
win. God. He almost made it a full half hour.
Hey, you knew I wasn't making it far. When an incumbent gets 14% of the vote, you know it was bad.
Yeah, no, your point is taken about Suomalo. I mean, you know, look at the guy that the news came out yesterday from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that they're going to be cutting Donovan Smith loose to save money. We all knew that was going to happen. The guy's a turnstile. His best year was in the Super Bowl year when the offensive line was incredible that entire year. It helped make one of the most hold-happy left tackles in the league look like a decent tackle.
Well, I mean, I was going to tell you, I've been evaluating talent for years. Offensive linemen are difficult because it's not in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
You get a wide receiver, all I have to watch is, okay, can you win off the line? Can you track a ball deep? What does a route look like? With offensive linemen, this is almost like a giant choreographed dance scene. And, okay, so one of the five of you does not appear to know what the steps are. So how does that affect the one next to you? And that's what you run into a lot of times with linemen. That's why you'll find these guys that go in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. They go to the right situation, and now all of a sudden they're a Pro Bowler or they're a high-level starter, and PFF loves them. And then you'll get somebody like Isaac Suomalo, who I think is a good guard in this league. I also think he's the weak link on that line.
Right.
They've also got, and his name's Cam Jurgens that they drafted last year that can play guard. So Philadelphia is going to have to trim some. It's not fat, but you're going to lose some guys because that roster was so top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's a very logical place to see it come from.
Nate Davis of the Tennessee Titans. He's also a name that gets mentioned a lot in these who's going to be moving in the offseason
Specifically
articles.
from PFF because they love him. I'm reasonably sure Nate Davis may be an investor in PFF. I'm not saying he's not good.
I was going to say you don't see it.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not good. It's just he's one of those players that they fall in love with, and I go, oh, what's really the difference between him and 7 or 8 other guys that are out here?
Is there going to be a heavy market for guards?
So Malu will get a big deal. There are a couple centers. If Garrett Bradbury hits the market, I could see him getting a big deal. I still feel like Bradley Bozeman's coming back to Carolina, and maybe that's just me selfishly because I like him so much and I think he fits with that line. Other than that, you get into a lot of the Rodney Hudsons. All right, you're 34 years old. I've seen you do good things, but I'm not so sure where you are right now. Can you be a good starter in this league? I think so. But then it comes into okay, what are you worth? What does a team think you're worth? And how long does it take for you to figure that out?
Again, not the sexiest of positions. Interior offensive linemen, they're not going to get headlines. I mean, let's be honest. You're not really going to be jumping over yourself to,
If your biggest signing's an offensive lineman, that's usually not a very exciting class.
Maybe you're just a team that, is going to have to rebuild after a certain quarterback left, and you're just a shell of your former self.
Okay, so I've got
saying if there's a free agency signing to come from my team, it's probably going to be an offensive lineman.
No doubt. So somebody in our YouTube comments said something that I feel like has to be touched on about what we opened the show with Jaylen Carter.
Okay.
It's from Robert Weed. He said, love your show. We appreciate that greatly. We appreciate having you in. Just remember what happened to Laramie Tunsil. The dude slipped pretty big for wearing a pot gas mask. Okay, 2 things on that. One, and I cannot emphasize this enough, nobody knew. I remember the Laramie Tunsil thing well because I was working for a different entity doing draft things, and we were all in a group chat going, did you know about this? It was universal no. It's the only thing I've ever seen like that in the history of the draft that I've been covering it, where nobody found this.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that got found was because he had chapped somebody in his personal life, and they sent it out. That was one of those of, what did we miss? Pass on him. And he wound up falling to the Dolphins. It's not ironic when this Jaylen Carter thing came out. I'm telling you right now, there's no irony to that. The fact that this is day one of the combine, everybody's just landed, somebody figured this out. I don't know how they found it out, but they found it out somehow. And the police department got in front of it before it was leaked by an Adam Schefter or an NRAP report. Because I want you to think about how bad of a look that would be. Just think about if we had gotten to, say, tomorrow, and the police department did nothing. They filed no charges, because once they file charges, we're all going to know.
Mm-hmm.
There's public record, so there's no way to keep it out of it.
Right.
Just imagine if Adam Schefter had been the one that actually broke this. Of an NFL team has uncovered that Jaylen Carter was street racing with the Georgia player that passed in the car crash. Think of the public narrative there with the police department. That's what tells me that's exactly how this went.
Right.
Because teams have been doing deep background for the last – it's been going for a while. They're into the deep background now. If there's anything about you, they're going to uncover it. Mm-hmm. And so that's why you found this out today.
So
this is not a conspiracy theory.
So you think more than likely somebody with a team or some intrepid reporter gave a call to the police department and said, hey, what's going on with this? And they went, oh.
Well, there's only so many ways you can find it out. So one way or the other, they got wind that this was coming out. And that's why charges are filed now. And I had somebody on a show earlier today that I did say, does that mean that there could be more? Absolutely. What the thing I've kept running into is nobody really knows what's happened. Mm-hmm. Because if this was a street race that he initiated, then he could be charged with vehicular manslaughter. That is a possibility in Georgia. They didn't do that, which is, I feel like if you're going to do that, you already would have.
Yes. I believe so.
But there's a lot of we don't know exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. The reason that Jaylen Carter is being charged is because they talked to him at the scene. They talked to him 2 times after that, and his story never lined up.
Right.
And then they finally got him and said, okay, something's up. Yep. So
and
we don't know if he told the truth at that point or if they've uncovered the truth.
Right. There are a lot of ins and outs to this. They went through and looked at surveillance footage of various businesses that would have been on the route from after they left the party that they were at. And it showed 3 cars were together. One of the other Bulldog players, I can't remember his name, Jamin hyphen guy that plays defense. He was in another car with them. There were 3 cars that left the scene. They were all traveling together. They don't know anything about it. What transpired where the video cameras can't see. It's a tough situation.
Very much.
It's absolutely a tough situation. The Athens community is hurting because they have 2 Bulldogs that have fallen. And it's a bad look. Just to me, it's a bad look that this didn't come out before now. I said to you, yes, or what?
Well, and again, maybe this is me being as intertwined with police as I am. Mm-hmm. To me, this is not a bad look at all. The fact that you kept this quiet for 7 weeks tells me that you're running a rather tight ship that nobody talked to anybody.
That's one way to look at it.
That was the number one thing. So I'm not gonna lie to you. Somebody that does what we do is actually who woke me up this morning to call me and ask if I knew this. Mm-hmm. My first thought was, man, I don't know who that sheriff is, or because I don't know if this was in the county or in the city, but whoever that is needs a commendation that this didn't leak to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. There's a lot of media down there, and it would be really easy for somebody to just slide a document under a door, shoot a text message, never know where it came from. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
So to me, that's more of a, I think this is on the up and up, and they know they have to charge him with something. Mm-hmm. I don't think they have much.
And part of me understands you don't want to throw it out there if you're not sure.
No doubt.
If you're not sure, because
we live in a world where as soon as this is said about you, it's on you forever.
Absolutely. Now they have been able to whittle it down to say, yes, it looked like they were racing at the time. What happened was just a freak accident. It wasn't like Jaylen Carter played a role in it, that he caused the crash or whatever. What they had determined was that they tried to make a left turn, and Chandler LaCroix, the staffer who was driving the other vehicle, couldn't make the turn, and then basically launched the car into a tree, which bounced off and hit an apartment complex. The story gets really difficult when you look at Jaylen Carter was at the scene, left the scene before police got there, then returned 2 hours later. That's a little weird. They could never prove that he had been drinking that night or anything. They said that there were no signs. So, I mean, I guess that's a good check mark in his book.
Well, I mean, just think about how much that changes the story. If Jaylen Carter is stone cold sober and you were racing, okay, now you're a dumb kid and something that did a dumb thing and a bad thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
If you were drinking, now that changes the narrative.
It does. I mean, the other driver was drunk. That they have confirmed.
And I guess what I'm saying is just this could be, so from what I have gathered, this could be as simple as they were together and this car and another took off and he was involved and they saw the car and now they can't prove it one way or the other. So there's a lot of variables here. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. I have learned my lesson enough times of saying things before I knew them, and that's where I'm at. This has a lot of potential outcomes.
Yes. At the moment, charges filed against Jaylen Carter, champion football player from the University of Georgia, and could have been, I'll phrase it that way, the number one pick in the NFL draft. I don't really see there's a path much for that happening now, but he has been charged with reckless driving and racing in conjunction with the car crash that killed Chandler LaCroix and Devin Willock back on January the 15th after a celebration of winning the national championship. I think this was after the parade had been had in Athens. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When we come back, we'll get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Another day of warm 70s in the forecast today to get March underway. Not too far off of records. We'll cool down a little bit into the weekend and bring in some pretty good rains here tonight. Some half-inch rains after midnight tonight. 55 degrees our low. Morning showers Thursday, 66. Thunderstorms Friday, 60 degrees. And then briefly cooler top of the weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks today. Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks are so good. Some are saying they're better than their mom's French toast. Perfectly crispy on the outside, perfectly fluffy on the inside, perfectly perfect in every way. Try Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks today and see if they're better than your mom's.
An evening with Larry the Cable Guy.
It's a cool anniversary for me tonight. This is my 27th year in the comedy business, and it's my 5th year being funny, so I'm excited about both of them, all right?
June 14th, Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. On sale now. Tickets available at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville.com, or the venue box office.
Get her done.
Proudly presented by 99.9 KISS Country.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and it's time to get just a bit outside. And wow. So if you are a sneakerhead, if you are a rare shoe collector, your chance at destiny, or dare I say, the dynasty, has arrived. Do you know what the Dynasty 6 is, Jeremy?
I'm trying to make a...
He's trying to come up with a funny quip.
Yeah, there's a joke about a place with no windows that is open till late at night.
Yeah, no. In the shoe collecting world, the Dynasty 6 apparently is the ultimate collector, or the ultimate collection of Air Jordan basketball shoes. What do the Air Jordan 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, and 14, what is the significance of those?
I again, trying to make a joke here, and it's
you got two sets of three. Shouldn't be hard.
Oh, it's what he wore when they won the titles.
There you go. The shoes, the Air Jordans that Michael Jordan was wearing on the court for the final game of the 2 three-peats, each of the NBA Finals series. A communications director for the Chicago Bulls somehow wound up with this collection. He had the shoes Michael Jordan was wearing in each of those championship wins and had them signed by Michael Jordan, and it's going up for auction. How much you want to wager that they're putting on how much they're going to get?
Oh, it's something stupid, like $10 million.
I need to do your $1 million man laugh. Yeah, because that's not even close. Times that by 10. $100 million is what they say this Dynasty 6 collection could fetch. There is no other collection like it on the planet. And Sotheby's has this up for auction. It's on display in Dubai. It just for another 2 days. Like, it's only like 6 days of viewing for these shoes at Sotheby's in Dubai. And I would imagine that there has been no other sneaker collection that has sold for near that much.
I'm going to ask
especially if it's just 6 shoes.
All right, so I'm going to have to PG this joke up because I used to tell this on stage a lot. Every man at some point has been asked, is there a price that you let somebody hit you with a car?
Yeah.
For like $50 million? I always had one question anytime somebody asked me that. How did somebody get this much money if they're this irresponsible with their money?
Sometimes people just want to share their wealth. And if you can find yourself in the bidding for the $100 million Dynasty 6 collection, spread some of that gravy on our taters. We'd appreciate it. We're friends.
I'm you know what? This is giving me an idea. I'm going to come out with my Dynasty 6, which is the set of Hey Dudes that I have worn for all 6 of our ratings books since we've been doing this.
Nice.
And I will sell that for the low price of just $9.99.
I thought that was going to go to this. This was going to be the 6-pack of Bud Lights that you polished off in 47 seconds.
What are you, a cop?
Up for auction.
Challenge accepted. I believe sure I can do that. My story is about Notre Dame basketball coach Mike Bray. Tonight he will coach for the final time at the Joyce Center.
Oh,
and they're taking on the Pittsburgh Panthers. It's a game you may or may not hear a pick for here in the next segment. But that's not actually why I'm telling. It has nothing to do with the game as to why I'm telling this story. Mike Bray's been the coach at Notre Dame for 23 years. And there is a place, if you know South Bend, Indiana at all, that's called the Linebacker Bar and Lounge. It is the definition of a dive bar, and apparently Mike Bray has never stepped foot in it in the 23 years that he has been at Notre Dame.
Really?
That's almost impossible for me to believe.
That is hard to believe.
Which, ironically enough, he opined about that when he talked about it. He said, I've never stepped foot in the linebacker in 23 years. I know you don't believe that, but I've never been in it, but I'm going in it tomorrow night. This was yesterday. He's talking about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Never been there, but I'm going Wednesday night. And we're closing that sucker. There ain't no curfew tomorrow. And he got the biggest, most evil James Bond villain look on his face that I think I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
So basically what Mike Bray just said is we are going to get just roadhoused by Pittsburgh tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go full Jeremy Greene and go 23 domestic lights or 11 1-and-1s.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sportsocracy family, but Mike Bray does not strike me as the domestic lights type.
Oh, no. He's
a scotch and soda guy.
I would have gone dirty martini, but.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
With his slick back hair.
Something that elicits you to have a pinky up as you drink it. My wife did that with a chicken tender last night. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Nice. So dainty. So ladylike.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had to go. We went to a memorial service yesterday. That's where we were. We were a very close friend passed away. And we stopped at the Village Porch right there that is the official watch place of all things Sportsocracy.
Mm-hmm.
She got a chicken tender. She had a shot of tequila, and I swear to you, she picked up a chicken tender and she held her pinky out, and I went, what is happening right now? You are with a grown man with a mullet. You do not go full prim and proper like you're sipping tea.
Absolutely she does.
That's a chicken tendy. Let's go.
You know what that is? That's a power move. I don't know what kind of power move that is, but that's a power move.
So it's ironic you said that. You boo-booed yourself. I can't believe I forgot to tell you this.
Uh-huh.
So Amy listens to the show.
Yeah.
She only catches an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So you were taking this great victory lap about how she is making me cut my hair for the wedding.
Yes.
She changed her mind.
Oh, no.
She changed her mind because of you.
Oh, did she really?
She did.
Wow.
She went, Tank is getting way too much enjoyment out of this. She said, you know what? That's the mullet is the man I'm marrying.
Oh.
And
that was the wrong call.
I'm not done yet. She agreed to the hat. She agreed to the hat for the wedding.
Oh, no. What have I done?
Oh, yeah, and you're totally responsible.
Absolutely.
She said his enjoyment has made me realize that this is who you are, and I'm not going to change that. And I was filled with a joy that I can't even really begin to explain. So thank you.
You're lucky, man.
Thank you for 100%.
You're a lucky
I'm
man.
marrying the most patient woman on the planet Earth.
There's no doubt about it. We don't have time to get into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offseason here, dude.
No, I had to chuck out the
and that's fine. I'm glad she made that decision for you. And I still feel like it's an error in judgment, but it's her wedding.
Well, I mean, now that I'm completely caught up on Yellowstone, I feel like the hat should be a cowboy hat.
I feel like that's better than Godfather Ho Train hat.
Also a formidable hat with a duck feather in it.
Yeah, with a big old plume sticking out of it.
I think I think that's a formidable call too. I just kind of feel like going full John Dutton, just with a cowboy hat, the mullet flowing in the wind.
You could do worse. You could do worse.
I have this vision that the pictures are going to be this just absolute beautiful woman, beautiful dress, which I obviously haven't seen. And then you have me, old hillbilly high tops over here.
Mm-hmm.
And that just fills me with glee.
The fact that your wedding picture is going to end up on one of those meme websites is like, how did this guy get this girl?
Oh, yeah.
That's 100% coming.
And for some reason, I feel like the only tagline is, you don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
You could be on that new TV show. I saw the commercial for it the other day.
I'm very intrigued.
This is a I don't remember what is it. Farmer Takes a Wife or something like that, and it's It's like city girls that they send to the farm to start relationships with the farmers. It's like a dating show. It's like a bachelorette kind of a thing. I hate reality TV, so I won't watch this, but I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh.
Watching like supermodels, dig out stalls and stuff.
Oh, Justin Parton just had an unbelievably great idea.
What's that?
In our YouTube chat, he said, "Can we have someone holding the mullet up down the aisle like they do the dress?"
Stephen Towle. You got to have somebody taller than you to lift it. So I think that's Stephen Towle's job.
I feel like this is a very formidable idea. See, now I'm trying to convince her on the.
So now that you've gotten your way, just so we're all clear, now that you've gotten your way,
I want more.
Now you want more.
Yeah.
This is what marrying Jeremy's going to be all about.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, now I'm trying to convince her of what the seating music should be.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on TikTok that makes instrumentals for wedding, like the walk down the aisle and things like that. He did one with country roads in it. And I went, I know the groom doesn't walk down the aisle, like the groom just kind of appears, but maybe in our wedding I could, and I could walk down to that. And I think that would be very formidable with my John Dutton cowboy hat and my mullet flowing in the wind.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. The Sports Center update is coming up next, and then we'll start the 4 o'clock hour with a team-by-team off-season preview for those Seattle Sea Chickens. The Seahawks, what do they got to do? They got to make a big decision at quarterback, and there's news on that today.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingalls, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingalls.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
Searching for fun ways to spend your tax return? Boats for cats. Oh, flotation devices for cats. Don't waste it all on something silly. Spend smarter with Straight Talk. Get our Silver Unlimited plan for $45 a month with unlimited high-speed data and with nationwide 5G. Plus, get a Samsung A13 5G for only $99.99, down from $149. If you're looking to get the most out of your refund, your search ends here. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
This week on The Marketer's Report, Patrizio Spagnoletto, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on building trust.
Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the on-air talent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
Coffee still closes on. Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
2-2 Monday with a day off, and now we're back to Wednesday, which means it's time for college basketball picks. I'll also say, I'm never taking it under in an NBA game ever again. Not because I was wrong. I was totally right. But then I watched the game and realized I like scoring, and this is impossible to watch. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Big night in college basketball, and I'm going back to the well. Providence is a 3.5-point favorite tonight at home against Xavier. Look, Xavier's a good team. They're just not very good on the road, and they never beat good teams on the road. They got UConn earlier in the season, but that was close, and UConn was terrible. Providence is one of the best teams in the country at home, and this is their last game to clinch a perfect season at home. I'm taking the Friars -3.5. I don't think this game's particularly close. Next, Auburn's a 10-point dog tonight against Alabama. Not been a great year for Auburn. There were high expectations. They lost a high-end player to the draft, and they're still going to make the tournament, but this would clinch that. Alabama's a good team, and I don't think they're going to lose, but 10 is ridiculously high for an Alabama team that just keeps playing with everyone they play, no matter who it is. Give me Auburn plus the 10. Texas is a 2.5-point dog tonight at TCU. I know exactly why this line is set the way it is, because Texas plays Kansas on Saturday, and there's a thought that this would be a look ahead. The problem with that is TCU only has one player, Mike Miles Jr., that could certifiably beat Texas. Texas knows that as well. I look for them to contain him. Win this game outright. Give me the Horns plus 2.5. And finally, I'm not much of a narrative guy, and tonight Pittsburgh is only a 3.5-point favorite at Notre Dame. Other than this being Mike Bray's last home game, there is not one reason that you could tell me why this game is not a double-digit spread. Pittsburgh's the better team. They do a lot of things that Notre Dame struggles to contain, including things at the rim. This game will never be close. Sorry, Mike Bray. You can close down the linebacker all you want to, but you're going to be hanging an L. Give me the Panthers minus the 3.5. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Another day of warm 70s in the forecast today to get March underway. Not too far off of records. We'll cool down a little bit into the weekend and bring in some pretty good rains here tonight. Some half-inch rains after midnight tonight. 55 degrees our low. Morning showers Thursday, 66. Thunderstorms Friday, 60 degrees. And then briefly cooler top of the weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Printed Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect guaranteed.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me. Did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all.
iHeartRadio.
Access to all of your favorite radio stations.
It's Ryan Seacrest. I go by the name of Charlamagne the God.
Hi, I'm Ellen K.
Bobby Bones here. Hola, soy Enrique Santos.
Access to all of the best free curated playlists.
My favorite music.
The best songs.
A little bit of everything.
Access to all of the great podcasts for every interest.
The Stuff You Should Know podcast. The Daily Show podcast.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former Georgia defensive tackle Jaylen Carter, one of the top prospects in next month's NFL draft, has been charged in the January 15th crash that killed offensive lineman Devin Willock and recruiting staff member Chandler LaCroix. Carter faces misdemeanor counts of reckless driving and racing. The crash occurred hours after the Bulldogs' championship parade. Carter said he intends to return to Athens to answer the charges and expects to be fully exonerated. NBA, megastar Kevin Durant ready to make his Suns debut tonight against the Hornets. With Durant, Phoenix now has the most dynamic offensive duo in the league, in the opinion of First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
Primarily because of Kevin Durant. I know that Devin Booker is a stud and a star, and his assertiveness and aggressiveness can't be understated because he goes for it. In the case of Kevin Durant, not so much because Kevin Durant sort of steps back, lets the game comes to him, doesn't force anything because he's so sufficient. He's so efficient as an offensive superstar.
Durant, coming back from an MCL sprain, will be on a minutes restriction. Lakers ruled out Anthony Davis against the Thunder tonight due to a right foot stress injury.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. And we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. You can get live alerts whenever we have new content coming out or whenever we have special broadcasts or anything like that. Obviously, you will get those alerts, and, of course, each and every day right before we go on the air here in the Ingalls studio at 3 o'clock. Plus, subscribing to the channel get you into the chat with us each and every day. You can have fun with Jeremy's marriage plans here.
You got to have the mullet train. And that's now just become a thing.
Our good friend Kevin Vick, member of the House of Reprehensibles, says Tal can hold the mullet, and Vic says he will throw little skull bandits out of the basket.
I mean, this is working tremendously.
But you don't dip, so
no.
It's just playing into the mullet thing.
Yeah.
It's just...
Her biggest fear now is that I keep discussing the ring bear.
You're not having a bear deliver the rings.
So I was told yesterday from Jody Williams, our buddy with Help Asheville Bears,
it
is apparently illegal to have a bear do that.
Sure.
But he did give me some very good, but you could do this. He knows a lot about manimals, which I don't.
Manimals?
Take that to mean what you want.
What's a manimal? You just gonna have some guy hairier than you deliver it? Start raving naked?
Well, I mean, I was thinking Brian Haynes,
he's a bear.
The original cocaine bear. Brian
Haynes.
That's now all I call him.
Man.
That is now all I call him. That's it. That is his official nickname. I actually changed his name in my phone to that.
Cocaine bear?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I mean, yeah, he would work.
Mm-hmm.
He would work. We once had a studio where he would pass out on the couch.
Well, that insinuates it was alcohol driven. It was not. It was usually Burger King driven.
I mean, sometimes it was.
Sometimes
what are you,
it was.
All I'm saying is I've seen too much of the man, more than I wanted to, and he fits the description of a cocaine bear. So yeah, maybe that's the route to go down. I don't know. I'm done saying anything about your wedding because the last time I took a victory lap on you have to cut the mullet, apparently she changed her mind and said, no, you don't have to cut the mullet.
That's love.
It's ill-advised, but it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, it's your wedding, not mine. I'll be there to enjoy the day and wish you all the happiness in the world for the rest of your lives. Don't screw this up, Jeremy.
Oh,
it's your last chance.
Oh, no doubt.
Third time better be the charm.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I will spend every day of the rest of my life just trying not to screw this up.
You've done well so far, and we're pleased about that. All right, welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, top of the 4 o'clock hour here on a Wednesday, and let's talk off-season previews. We're going team by team down the draft order here, and Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks have made some news today because,
well,
it looks like they are going to be entertaining all the top quarterbacks in the draft. Picking at number 5, Seattle. I can't really say they shouldn't do this. I think they absolutely should. To me, Geno Smith, it was a great year last year. Sure. Is that repeatable? And is Geno Smith a guy that you pay $35 to $40 million to be your quarterback? Because
for a year.
Yeah, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I would be all in on the rookie train.
Well, the question becomes, what is going to be there? I mean, I feel like between the Jaylen Carter news and the fact that we're into Combine Week, and this is the definition of the height of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And Divine Comedy in our YouTube comment said, Seattle saying they're looking at a quarterback means Seattle's trying to create a trade-up. Yeah, that's not how you do that. Because now you're creating a trade-up for the teams in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I'm after a quarterback. Okay, well, now you've entered we're looking at quarterbacks.
Right.
Now Carolina's looking at Arizona at 3, Chicago at 1. That opens all those things up. So if that's what you're trying to do, you're doing a real bad job of it.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Carroll said, I think the most honest thing I've ever heard a coach say. It's not like we pick in the top 5 very often.
Bingo.
Do you know who their last pick in the top 5 was?
Aaron Curry.
Aaron Curry. That was 4 years after I graduated high school.
And did not go well. If memory serves me correctly, he was the hot shot linebacker out of Wake Forest that everybody drooled over, and he flamed out real quick.
And Divine followed it up with, exactly, they're trying to get a third quarterback into the top 4 so they could get Carter or Anderson. It's entirely possible.
Maybe.
I can't tell you it's not true. I can also tell you if they're not investigating the quarterbacks, they're doing a disservice to their fan base.
Absolutely. And that's
because even if you think Geno's, let's say that you think what you saw this year out of Geno is totally replicable. He'll come back in next year. He'll be a top 12 to 15 quarterback in the league again. Okay. He's 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's 33 years old. So even if you think that, you only have 2 or 3 more years of this. This is not Tom Brady 2.0 where he's going to play until he's 46. But he didn't throw a pass for 8 years. I'm well aware of that. I don't care. Geno Smith's 2 years younger than I am. Okay? So that's not the long-term play. And this is the reason that teams like Seattle stay competitive as long as they do. Because sometimes you get put into a situation where you have to make chicken salad out of chicken excrement. Because let's be really honest about where they're sitting. There are 2 quote-unquote elite defensive players in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Carter, Will Anderson. Now you have a big question mark about Jalen Anderson. Will Anderson's not, or Jaylen Carter and Will Anderson's not going to get to you one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? I've seen Tyree Wilson to Seattle 1,000 times. It's a reach. At the end of the day, that's a reach. And teams like Seattle don't do that. Even Aaron Curry, the big whiff at 4, he wasn't a reach. He was a phenomenal college football player. Many of us thought he was going to come into the league and be what Bobby Wagner ended up being. That wasn't a reach. This is a team that doesn't do that. That's why they've been so difficult for me. And I've gone down all the iterations of the, okay, you trade out of 5 and you go to Carolina at 9 because Fitterer came from Seattle and you know each other. Who you take at 9? Tyree Wilson won't make it past Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the best 2 players in the draft left are corners. You've never taken one higher than the 3rd round. So you're going to trade yourself into that. Or maybe, do you really do your homework on the quarterbacks? Knowing that you're not going to pick in the top 10 again because you don't have another one of these picks that Denver stupidly gave you.
Mm-hmm.
And you take the quarterback of the future. Whether that's Anthony Richardson and you can let him sit behind Geno for 2 years. Whether it's Will Levis. Whether C.J. Stroud falls in your lap. I think that's the best path to go for your future. It doesn't help you right now, and that's what drives fans crazy, is that we have a pick in the top 5. We have to get an impact player right now. Or you go down the path of, I'm going to do what's best for this team for the next 10 years. Because other than Pete Carroll, I could argue virtually every person in that building is going to continue to be there. One of the biggest misnomers about draft failures is the situation. You find a team, I really want to take a shot at the Bears here, but all right, there's going to be enough of that later. The Houston Texans. The coach has been on a vicious cycle since Bill O'Brien left. The GM has been on a vicious cycle. What does that lead to? Nobody ever gets comfortable. So you start looking for the player that can help you right now. All right, so he's the most valuable right this second. Because if I miss on this pick and I have a Trey Lance situation where 2 years in I still don't know what he is, I'm LMNO fired. John Lynch didn't have that problem. Weird. San Francisco's good every single year. Unless they just get ravaged by injuries, which no one can forecast. The Seattle Seahawks have picked in the top 5 one time in almost 20 years. There's a reason for that. Because Pete Carroll's been around forever. The front office has been around forever. And they can do what's best for the franchise. That's what Baltimore does. That's what Pittsburgh does. That's what these teams that stick around for the long haul, that's what they do. I don't care if you're going to help me today. Seattle knows what they are. This is a good roster. It's not a great roster. I hit 3 home runs in the draft last year. 4th that's in the ballpark of it. That is 4 of my 22 positions that are solidified for the next 5 to 10 years. So what do I do with 5 and 20? 5 was a gift. This is a gift. This is finding $1,000 on the sidewalk with a note that said, I hope you need this more than I do. No strings attached. Just here's money, you have it. And to me, if you're not going to investigate this quarterback class, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Absolutely.
Because if C.J. Stroud falls into their lap at 5, you have to take him. Have to.
I don't see any way around it. Pete Carroll made a hell of a lot of sense when he said that.
Absolutely.
We have not picked it. We've been picking in the mid-20s, and we don't get a chance to pick in the top 5. So absolutely we're going to do our due diligence on all of these quarterbacks. Because should it come down to it, maybe we should take the swing. Depending on who's there.
And this was also a leverage play. This was a leverage play with Geno Smith. Geno, buddy. You know, negotiations are going well, but we're not there yet. Okay, this was Seattle going, first of all, we're bidding against ourselves, and we know it. There is nobody else in this league that views you as the quarterback that you view yourself and that we view you after the year you just had, because you can't do that anywhere else. You've proven it. Whether it was with the Jets, whether it was with the Giants, the Chargers, you've never been this guy. You've only been this guy here. So you have a value. And to me, that I've said from the jump, that value is $25 million a year. That's what I will pay. I will do it for 2 or 3 years. I will not go further than that. And I will bring you in. You will be the unquestioned starter, and there will be a rookie sitting behind you. And if you are ineffective or if you get hurt or anything like that, there will be no fall off for me because this quarterback's more talented than you. You give me the better chance to win right now. And this is a gettable NFC. I don't think this is lip service. I don't think this is I'm trying to get somebody to trade up, or I don't believe. I firmly believe for one of the few times in sports, the Seattle Seahawks came to the podium at the Combine and went, I'm going to tell you the truth because I don't have to lie to you. I have a big old present with a big old bow on it sitting on my front step. And that's what good franchises do.
So should they take a quarterback at 5? They should definitely be in the mix. They should definitely be talking to all of them, interviewing all of them, doing the background on all of them, because you just never know. You never know who's going to fall in your lap at 5. Were you picking outside the top 10, it'd be a different story. Then we know you're probably going to have to reach for a quarterback, but if one falls to you at 5, you know you're not reaching. It's going to be one of those 3. It's going to be Bryce Young, it's going to be Levis, or C.J. Stroud. I don't think you can pass that up for Geno Smith.
Well, it's not passing it up for Geno Smith. Alex S. just asked us in the YouTube comments, are you telling me Geno doesn't wait or doesn't walk for actual money? There's no reason he won't get it. Who's he going to get it from?
Yeah.
You think the Carolina Panthers are jumping up and down to give him $25 million or more?
Mm-mm.
They don't want to give $40 million to Derek Carr. Why in the world would you think they would pay the same amount to Geno Smith?
The only team, honestly, I think that would be in the running would be Tampa. You need a quarterback.
You've got Canales.
Right.
But you don't have any money. You're $55 million over the cap.
Yeah.
You cut Leonard Fournette and Donovan Smith yesterday. That saved you about $8. Congratulations.
It's closer to $20 million between the two of them.
That was a really nice way of saying Donovan Smith made $16 million.
Indeed.
How did it make you feel?
Oh, I felt gross about it when we gave him the contract. It was disgusting then, and it's disgusting now. And I'm glad that we're getting out from underneath it.
And that's the Geno Smith thing to me is that's the vacuum that, and I'm not taking shots at sports fans. That's the vacuum you live in.
Mm-hmm.
The 31 other teams in the NFL, if you got them into a room and said, where does Geno Smith fit in terms of talent and among quarterbacks in this league? Universally, the answer would be somewhere between 20 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he is. But in this well-sculpted system that has been the same year after year after year after year, I can plug and play a quarterback because they firmly believe they did that with Russell Wilson for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think he was a special talent. They never did. And then when he became just a complete Looney Tune, they shipped him out of town and went, you know what, Geno Smith, same guy. Statistically, they're right.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think that would be with a high-level quarterback?
Right. Who's to say C.J. Stroud won't come in and be a better quarterback in that system? Who's to say it won't be Bryce Young?
You don't get me, and Schneider's comment of quarterbacks don't grow on trees. It's probably the hardest position to acquire a talent, a guy that everybody feels very confident in. That is as honest as anybody could be, especially in a year. And you know what? We got to take a break. After the break, there is another layer of this that I heard in our day off yesterday that is going to change the way the next mocks and all of the residual ones are going to look. Because there is a team that is trending to doing something that does not make a whole lot of sense to me, and it may force the hand of the Seattle Seahawks.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is crawling 26 westbound west of Hendersonville Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek Boulevard Road, north and southbound, expect heavy delays approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Hendersonville Road, northbound, is slow between the Arden area and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road, northbound, very busy between the Royal Pines area and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is sorry for going too far with its past breakfast. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food, like a breakfast crunch wrap, fluffy eggs, cheese, sausage, hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Grab one at participating Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
Asheville, the ultimate battle. March 17th and 18th, the Egg Center. Here they come. 3D monster trucks, starring Lone Wolf, battling Boss Gator, and more. Tickets now at monstertnt.com or buy at Allen's Jewelry and Pawn for free pit passes.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year. Which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
We're back in a Sportsocracy and talking NFL draft. Seattle Seahawks picking at 5. Could they take a quarterback? Pete Carroll and John Schneider both say that they're doing their due diligence on the quarterbacks because you just don't get a chance to draft this high. Yeah, if you're the Seattle Seahawks. Successful franchise that typically picks in the late teens, mid to late 20s most years. They picked just one time in the top 5. In the last 20 years, was it?
Just under 20. I think it's 17 or 18 years.
Yeah. You got to do your homework. You got to be ready to pull the trigger because Geno Smith ain't a long-term solution.
No. And there's another layer to this. There is a quarterback-needy team. I do not know if they are referring to the Houston Texans or the Chicago Bears. I know who I think it is. That is so dead set on next year's quarterback class that they didn't even really entertain one. I think it's Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of things I've heard make sense because their belief is that if Caleb Williams and Drake May were in this draft class, they would go 1-2. They think May has a gigantic arm and he's athletic, and I could keep giving you the scouting report, but they're looking a year down the road. They know whoever it is, they know this team is not very good, and they will be picking high again next year. So they will have the chance to get a generational quarterback as opposed to the one that's here. If that's the case, if that's how Houston feels, whatever the case may be, you could have one of these guys that fall.
Mm-hmm.
I get vilified for, well, C.J. Stroud will never fall that far. He could. He could. It depends on how teams view him. There are, and that's the thing with all of these quarterback prospects in this draft. I can show you tremendous tape from Bryce Young, from C.J. Stroud, from Will Levis, from Anthony Richardson. I can also show you tape that would absolutely scare you to your core taking them in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
With all of them except Bryce Young. Bryce never had a really bad tape. The scary thing about him is how big he is. But there are teams that are already looking at next year going, we got 2 that we know are in the bag. I had a scout in the AFC tell me Drake May could come out and throw every pass that every ball he touches next year, he could throw at his feet, and he will still go in the top 5 next year.
Really?
Yes. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. Short of him getting a leg amputated, he's going in the top 5 because we saw enough this year.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care. He's better than all 4 of these guys, and we all feel this way. And it didn't go down the Caleb Williams rabbit hole.
Right, because we already know.
Well, there are some different takes on him. He's more of a it depends on what school of thought you are in with quarterbacks. Because Caleb Williams does a lot of things that are not necessarily NFL system. That Lincoln Riley system is not an NFL system.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, okay, what are we going to have to do to get him used to set drops instead of just option routes and things like that. Drake May has no such problems. That Phil Longo system, yeah, it's got some gimmicky college elements to it, but in large part, we've seen everything we need.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a possibility that one or more of these guys straight up fall. And that's what I was saying the other day. Chicago fans make me laugh because they're, well, Bryce Young is so little, and we would never give up on Justin Fields. The peasant Indianapolis Colts, I'm sure, will do that. You don't think they have the same questions about him? He's too small for you, but he's all of a sudden big enough for Indianapolis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But they're more desperate than we are, I guess, is the thought there. I don't know.
And I'm sitting at 4, and there are 3 gigantic quarterbacks sitting back right behind Bryce Young. So if I have those qualms, why don't I just sit here and take the best one that falls to me?
Mm-hmm.
See, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you say it that way. Then they start floating that, well, we love Anthony Richardson because he reminds us of Jalen Hurts. And with Shane Steichen here, we're going to try to make Philadelphia, I don't know, what was that? Philadelphia Southwest, slightly down. So, and this is the era of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
This is the week that you start hearing things that are just lunacy.
Right. So, aside from the quarterback situation that Seattle has to make, what else do they need to do in the offseason?
Well, I mean, having 2 picks in the top 20 is a great luxury. I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, they've actually got a reasonable amount of money going into this. I mean, they don't have a lot of high-level expenditures. So it's a weak free agent class. My biggest thing with Seattle is you need to avoid overpaying somebody. Don't try to jump in line.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the NFC is attainable, I don't think there's anything necessarily that Seattle could do that makes them the front runner.
No.
But
not
I don't
even in their own division. Coming into next year, do you not believe that both San Francisco and L.A. are going to be ahead of them?
No.
Really?
I'm not sure LA's not about to blow it up.
Oh, you think so?
Because it's not just Jalen Ramsey that calls have been made on. They know where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I've said this time and time and time again. The Rams' top 10 on their roster is as good as anybody in the league. From 11 to 53, it may be the worst roster I've ever seen. And they know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they may just piece it out while they still can. And then you said San Francisco. I can't tell you what they're doing at quarterback enough for me to tell you that I know definitively they will be better.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
I mean, we saw it this past year. They rotated quarterbacks in, and they were still better.
You also just lost your defensive coordinator. Your staff is getting gutted again. Now the defense is not going to look the same because for the first time you've had to farm out that coordinator spot to somebody that's not in your system.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot more variables with San Francisco than people let on. I'm not dead sold on either of their quarterbacks. You know, the raw talent, I like Trey Lance. But would it shock me if after an offseason with Pete Carroll and John Schneider, I looked at Seattle's roster and went, yeah, I like that better. I like Geno Smith better than either of your quarterbacks for a year. I don't like him better for 5 years. But for 2023, you have the best quarterback situation in the division because the other 2 are coming off injuries.
Mm-hmm.
This roster is not – I mean, it's not bad. I mean, people make it out like Seattle was just smoke and mirrors and that's how they got here.
No.
This roster is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're adding Jamal Adams back, who spent most of the year on IR. So there's a possibility you hit these 2 first rounders out of the park, have another good draft. Yeah, I could see Seattle being the front runner in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was headed is I don't see a path to you being that team in the NFC. So a lot of times teams will get where Seattle is, and they have so many rookies and they have so many guys on rookie scale contracts that they'll go chase I'm trying to think of a name off the top of my head that I think is going to get way too much money. Isaac Seumalo. The guy we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wind up with this albatross contract, and you do that 1 or 2 times, and all of a sudden you have completely mitigated the advantage you have with killing the draft. So for Seattle, that would be the big thing to me. They don't have a lot of needs. You need somebody that can get after the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Nwosu last year showed he can be part of that, but he can't be that by himself. So if there was a way to add Will Anderson, that's fantastic. It drops off a cliff after him. Miles Murphy's not a top 5 pick. I'm going to keep saying that until it marinates on the rest of the industry. Tyree Wilson is he's a boom bust prospect. there are not a ton of pass rushers that I love that are in free agency. Mm-hmm. So that's where Seattle has to prioritize its assets. When we did the 2-round mock draft, I had a lot of Seattle people that were like, well, how did we not take a linebacker? Because you're going to sign one of them. There are 2 really good linebackers in this class. Every other one has a wart. Why would I not just go sign a guy that I know what he is? There are edge rushers that I could take at every single pick. There are guards that I could take at every single pick. Osiris Torrance, I've loved him at 20. I just don't think he's going to get there now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the fun elements of building a roster. What can I get in the draft? What do I have to go get in free agency? I'm higher on this Seattle team going into next year than I was last year. I felt you played with some house money this past year. You got very lucky with Geno Smith. You had some injuries, and it didn't seem to hurt you. Your division also crumbled around you because the Rams and the Cardinals were bad. Now you're getting to we are reaping the benefits of this trade with Russell Wilson, the greatest trade hijacking in the history of professional sports. And once you have all those players on the roster, yeah, it wouldn't shock me if they were the second or third best team in the NFC.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time to get weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Another day of warm 70s in the forecast today to get March underway. Not too far off of records. We'll cool down a little bit into the weekend and bring in some pretty good rains here tonight. Some half-inch rains after midnight tonight. 55 degrees our low. Morning showers Thursday, 66. Thunderstorms Friday, 60 degrees. And then briefly cooler top of the weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 26 westbound between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound is stop and go approaching Long Shoals Road to Clayton Road. Near the NC Arboretum, Brevard Road north and southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road. Hendersonville Road northbound slows in the Arden area, continuing to Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound slowing in the Royal Pines area, continuing to Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow south of the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services of Asheville.
First Restoration Services has been responding 24/7 to property damage from water, fire, and storm damage since 1987. If you have a disaster on your property, there's only one company to call first. First Restoration Services of Asheville, 684-1582.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better." Unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March the 2nd through the 6th for the 2023 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite teams compete for the championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. While you're there, visit the Ingalls Fan Zone at the tournament for lots of fun, games, prizes, and more. The 2023 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. For more information, visit SoConHoops.com. That's SoConHoops.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, that's what happens when you have fat fingers. Hit the wrong button. It's time to get weird here in the Sportsocracy on a Wednesday.
Like that's not the one.
That's not. Yeah,
you really need to automate the buttons.
That was not the one. Weird news for the day. Jeremy, do you know what the Wagner Group is?
It sounds like a craft beer. I'll have a Wagner.
No. The Wagner.
Did he write a book? It's Kurt Vonnegut.
Vonnegut, yeah, no. The Wagner Group is the quote-unquote private army of Russian President Vladimir Putin. So you have like the regular Russian army, and then I guess this is like...
Do they brush his horse that he rides shirtless
I'm sure they
through
do.
the countryside?
I'm sure they do. But the Wagner Group has hit social media, whatever semblance of social media in Russia there is, I don't know. But they've hit social media looking for recruits to the war effort, and the leader of the Wagner Group is a man whose name I cannot pronounce and don't feel like I should for fear of offending someone. But anyway, the head of the Wagner Group put out a video encouraging young recruits to join up, and the selling point of this is that you are going to be well-positioned for World War III. So I guess we got Russia's intentions in where this little skirmish in Ukraine may be leading us on the global scale. When that is your selling point of, you'll be best suited once World War III begins.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't agree with that statement.
You don't agree? I don't agree that they'll be well positioned.
Yeah,
but maybe that's just, I don't know, the window that we're looking at for World War III may be beginning, or at least Vladimir Putin is hell-bent on causing World War III. The Wagner Group has undertaken several missions for Putin in Syria, Libya, and the Sudan, and has expanded massively since the invasion of Ukraine. There's also thoughts that there could be a fight within the Kremlin coming at some point. Obviously, this is like one of those. So there's a second-in-command guy who wants to challenge Vladimir Putin. I think we've all known how that's gone over the years. It hasn't worked out for number 2 guy, pretty much.
You know what they say about Kremlins?
Scary stuff, man.
You know what they say about Kremlins? Never feed one after dark. There is apparently a massive crime wave happening in New York City who's shocked, but it's very targeted. Do you know what Apple AirPod Maxes are?
Earbuds.
Nope. So the AirPods are earbuds that just go in your ear and play music, and they look ridiculous when you just walk around the street with them in your ears.
Right.
The AirPods Max are headphones like the ones that are on my head right now.
Okay.
And apparently they're noise canceling and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to remember what I just said about noise canceling headphones. At least 21 people in New York City have had their Apple headphones stolen right off their heads by a roving team of moped-riding bandits.
There you go.
It's 4 individuals. 2 of them drive past the victim. 2 more drive up behind them on their moped, yank the headphones off their head, and drive away.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think these things cost?
Oh, it's an Apple product, so it's got to be $600.
You're close, $550.
Jeez.
Okay,
for a set of headphones?
Which is that's insane.
It is.
I don't know why this needs to be said, but I think this every time I go downtown. You're wearing noise-canceling headphones outside. That's not where you're supposed to use that, because there are, other people and cars and birds and bears and things that can harm you that maybe it would help if you could hear them.
I love that you went to birds before bears. Like,
well, I mean, we live in a city. Which are you more likely to see in downtown Asheville, a bird or a bear?
Some days wouldn't be too strange to see a bear just roaming around the street.
No, there's a lot of things roaming down the streets of Asheville that wouldn't be weird to see. Just you don't need music playing everywhere you go. You just don't. Like, I don't know who needs to say that. I don't know if we need to pass a bill of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So I, at one time, had an office in downtown Greenville. My office was right on the corner of one of the streets on Main Street. A full day this was 4 years ago. A full day had not passed if I had not seen someone with AirPods in their ears almost get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Happened every day.
Absolutely.
Horn just laying like. You don't need a soundtrack, okay? You're not Forrest Gump, and when you start running, you don't need music playing behind you. Oh, that is one of my biggest pet peeves. I see people doing that. I just want to take them out of their ear and throw them.
Angry Jeremy.
It drives me nuts.
How dare you try to enjoy music while you're out and about?
When you're around, I don't know, cars. That's a bad idea. Also, when you're walking down the street, maybe stop staring at your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I watched somebody, I guess it's been about a week ago, walk dead into a stop sign. And I laughed aggressively.
As you should. You get what you deserve. If you're walking down the street and you got your face buried in your cell phone and you run into a telephone pole, we're going to laugh at you. And you're going to deserve every bit of that laughter.
There are places to wear noise-canceling headphones. I could argue sleep is not one of them, okay? Because there are bad things that can happen in your house while you're asleep. You're wearing noise-canceling headphones, especially if you live in Chicago, although getting better. That's two. That's two. I told you I'd hit at least three. Walking down the street is not one of the times that you need noise-canceling headphones. Wear them on an airplane. I get it. You don't want to listen to babies crying and people talking. I get it. I get it. You don't need music everywhere you go.
I disagree. I would like music everywhere I go. If they came up, and I'm sure this is coming at some point, some doctor somewhere is going to figure out how to do this, but to have like cochlear implants where you can just have music in your head.
You care to tell me that first word again?
Cochlear?
Cochlear.
Yeah. It's a part of the ear. You can have like
cochlear.
You could have like a little tiny speaker inside your ear canal, just implanted. And you have some kind of button on the outside that's like, Bluetooth synced up or something.
Yeah, that's what we need. More things to distract people while they're living their life.
They've got glasses. They've got sunglasses now that have the screen for your phone projected on them. Oh,
stop. That's not true.
That is true. It is true. It's not widely available, but it's being beta tested and, workshopped or whatever.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, we need more access to devices.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe enjoy the sounds of nature, a bird or I don't know what else makes noise in nature, but
I mean, wouldn't you like that? Just any time you want, you can just like hit that little knob on your ear, and Creed bangers right there, pipelined right into your brain. It sounds like sounds like a great plan to me.
I have that. It's in the dashboard of my 2023 Pro 4X Nissan Titan. I hit a button and Creed bangers happen. I don't need that when I'm walking down the street.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and now it's time to mock the mocks. The mock drafts continue to come out from all of the quote-unquote experts out there. Even Jeremy has his mock drafts that he is putting out. We got team-by-team 3-round mock drafts going to be going out on the channel here real soon. He's still working on that, putting all of the bells and whistles together for your coverage on that. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you'll know when the latest one drops. But Mel Kiper Jr., he is the godfather of all draft prognosticators. And he put one out yesterday that just left me scratching my head, going, what did you do here? What is it
that
would you say
you do here?
Because he went full cocaine bear on his latest mock draft. It all started at number 1, where he had the Houston Texans trading up from 2 to 1 with the Chicago Bears to get a quarterback. Which I feel like that's not going to happen. I don't think Houston's the one.
No, because Houston can call their bluff. And I firmly believe everybody's going to call their bluff of, okay, you say you're not taking a quarterback. Let's see it. Cards on the table.
And then Chicago with the number 2 pick.
Trades again
Down to 4 with the Indianapolis Colts, who traded up to get C.J. Stroud.
Fair enough.
I
don't think that's how that'll go, but that's fair enough. Oh no, my issues with this started a little later.
For some reason, I don't see that happening. I don't see the Chicago Bears being able to recoup that much draft capital trading down twice.
Well, I also won't be shocked if Houston doesn't take a quarterback at 2.
And still staying in the top 4. It seems crazy to me. So 3, obviously, Will Anderson to the Arizona Cardinals. Everybody and their brother has that one. Then they've got Chicago taking Jaylen Carter at 4. The Carolina Panthers trade up to 5 with the Seattle Seahawks and go for Will Levis at quarterback.
All of those things are completely within the realm of possibilities.
Then you got Christian Gonzalez coming off at 6 to the Detroit Lions.
Yep, still good.
Devin Witherspoon, the cornerback out of Illinois, going to the Las Vegas Raiders at 7.
Still good. 7 in, and we're still good.
And then it's the Atlanta Falcons at 8, where things got squirrely as they take Will McDonald out of Iowa State. This guy's not a top 10 pick, is he?
Good Lord, no. He's not a first-round pick. I have him at 51 of the Miami Dolphins. Look, he's a good pass rusher. He's a real good pass rusher. Had a good week in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. I think his assertion that he dominated is that's just patently not true. He can't play against the run. I outweigh Will McDonald. That's not a good sign that you're going to be able to hold up as a 4-down or a 3-down, edge in the NFL.
Right, he's a 241-pound pass rusher.
Yeah, and his frame does not lend itself that he's going to be able to add bulk. That is insane to me. That is completely, certifiably insane to me.
Will McDonald, I mean, he's the size that you'd have to stand him up, right? You couldn't put him hand in the dirt.
Depends. As long as he gets outside leverage and is able to use his speed, the problem is that you could only play him on 3rd down in the beginning. Because in the NFL, it will be, when McDonald's on the field, cool, we're going to run right at him. And you better pray you send a safety behind him, because that is the only way we are not about to annihilate you.
I feel like you'd have to. So Will McDonald at 8 was insane. Anthony Richardson at 9 to the Seattle Seahawks.
If there's a team that could take him and I wouldn't absolutely hate it, Seattle. If Anthony Richardson throws a pass in his first 2 years in the league, it's insane. Insane. Gage in our YouTube comment said Reddick is 240. Yeah, he's also got Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis next to him. I don't know how much you know about the Atlanta Falcons defense. He doesn't. But Grady Jarrett, yeah, that's and then gets very the kid that I always make fun of that they paid. Tyler Davidson. Yeah, it gets very quickly.
And rounding out the top 10, Philadelphia Eagles with that pick from the New Orleans Saints, taking Peter Skoronski.
Which that would be the most Philadelphia Eagles thing humanly possible. Hey, take the 5th best player on the board at 10.
I think it'd be phenomenal.
I do too.
I mean, you round out that offensive line, you don't have to sign Isaac Suamalo in free agency who could get a bag from somebody else. And it just adds some youth to the offensive line where, I feel like, at least Lane Johnson, to me, is a piece that is going to be going bye-bye at some point soon.
He's younger than you think. But Skoronski would be great if he fell to 10 to Philadelphia. The other picks I had issues with, Tyree Wilson goes 12. He will never last that long. If he lasts past 6, I'll be shocked. Because his high side is incredible. They had him, somebody asked him at the combine, it's either today or yesterday, my days have kind of blended together, to show off his wingspan. Fingertip to fingertip, it was as wide as the banner behind him that said NFL Combine, which is 86 inches wide.
Wow.
That's absurd. He's a freak of nature. So he's not lasting the 12. They had Anton Harrison going as the third offensive tackle behind Paris Johnson and Skoronski. He's not going that high. Then I really didn't have a ton of issues with it. A lot of it lended itself to about where nothing was too insane until I saw Bijan Robinson at 27 and went, "Mel, buddy, look, I know you're the godfather if you don't take a running back in the first round, but okay, that's the number one player in this draft. He is not lasting that far. Where he goes, I do not know, but he is not falling to the Buffalo Bills at 28. Then he had New Orleans taking a tight end at 29, and after I stopped laughing, I went, "Oh, God, you're serious."
Not only did they take a tight end, but also taking a tight end who didn't do a whole lot in college.
Yeah, your derision of Darnell Washington
It's not derision.
It's 100% derision.
It's not derision. It's just what has he proved to warrant being a first-round pick?
Plenty. One of these days, we're going to have a Darnell Washington film session, which is weird that I have to do with a team that you're a fan of. Trust me, he's shown he can do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly like you were with old pew-pew. You had Brock Bowers, who took up a lot of the workload.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of running backs that took up a lot of the workload. Darnell Washington will be fine. Just 29 in New Orleans is insane.
It's insane. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
When we come back, we've got a couple super chats to get to, and then it'll be time for the 5 o'clock hour of this show where anything's possible.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 26 westbound west of Hendersonville Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound is stop and go between the Ardenwoods Retirement Community and Clayton Road. Near the NC Arboretum, Boulevard Road north and southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road. Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go between the Arden Community and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound is stop and go between the Royal Pines area and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow south of the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. I'm Lineman Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earn doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
What do you mean he went searching for fresher powder? We have full classes today.
Instructor down at Vesper Ski School.
Toward each other to snowplow, honey, not away.
She needs more ski instructors to slalom through the day-to-day.
Pizza, fries. Whoa, Braley, no, pizza.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
It's ESPN Asheville. You are in the Sportsocracy. And don't forget, you can super chat with us. You can chat with us in the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Just hit the subscribe button. That gets you into the chat.
All right, we've got two of our super chats from our lovely fans in the chat. Our resident candidate, Gage Camplin, asked, does Carter fall in the draft? I don't think so. I don't think. Now, that's a biased take because new things could come out as it sits right now. And that's what we opened the show with. If there was more to this and they knew more, I think they would have charged him with more.
It also depends on how he handles the interviews. It also depends on how he responds when teams ask him about it. If it's, if it's not well rehearsed, it's not going to be good for him. I don't think.
Well, I mean, and I don't necessarily want it to be rehearsed. What happened? That's if I'm sitting in that room, I need in your words what happened, and I need you to be genuine. I need you to be contrite, and I need you to be honest. But I mean, I got news for you: the story's going to come out. There's too many people around this situation. The truth will come out, and so I think that's going to be huge for him. And what the truth is going to be huge for him. We just don't know a lot of those things,
right?
As it sits,
right.
Soaring Eagle said, I still have Richardson to the Raiders because Josh McDaniels looks to be exactly repeating everything his Broncos tenure had. I'm not 100% sure Anthony Richardson gets to 7. I told you this last week that I'm hearing more and more he could end up in the top 5. Because this is what happens. This is what happens when we get to this period. People start looking at the raw. And now we get to the combine. And Richardson's going to throw, Will Levis is going to throw, C.J. Stroud's going to throw. Of those 3, Stroud will be the least impressive. Levis has an absolute howitzer. And Anthony Richardson's not far behind him. And there's no telling what he's going to run. The problem is that scouts sometimes get locked into your raw abilities. And you wind up with John Ross, who couldn't run a route if you spray painted it on the ground. He's going to do it.
Right.
We do this every single year, which is why to start the happy hour, as we do every day, it's a daily draft. And today, we're drafting combine workout warrior busts. I'm going to have so much fun with this one.
You are in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville Daily Draft coming up after the Sports Center update. Plus, we still got to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offseason, plus the interior defensive linemen that are available in free agency. It's all on the way right after this.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Another day of warm 70s in the forecast today to get March underway. Not too far off of records. We'll cool down a little bit into the weekend and bring in some pretty good rains here tonight. Some half-inch rains after midnight tonight. 55 degrees our low. Morning showers Thursday, 66. Thunderstorms Friday, 60 degrees. And then briefly cooler top of the weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 26 westbound west of Hendersonville Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound is stop and go between the Ardenwoods Retirement Community and Clayton Road. Near the NC Arboretum, Brevard Road north and southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road. Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go between the Arden Community and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound is stop and go between the Royal Pines area and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow south of the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. I'm Lineman Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring heating up? Indeed's hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in one place. Sponsor a post and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates on Indeed whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Dell Technologies provides growing businesses with tools to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former Georgia star defensive tackle Jaylen Carter, one of the top prospects in next month's NFL draft, has been charged in the January 15th crash that killed offensive lineman Devin Willock and recruiting staff member Chandler LaCroix. Carter faces misdemeanor counts of reckless driving and racing. The crash occurred hours after the Bulldogs championship parade. Carter said he intends to return to Athens to answer the charges and expects to be fully exonerated. NBA power forward Kevin Durant will make his Phoenix debut tonight against the Hornets. Expect a smooth transition for Durant with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and the rest of the Suns, believes ESPN basketball analyst Monica McNutt.
I do think that the relationship between Book, CP3, and Kevin Durant, as far as their Olympic team experience, will expedite this process. And we know that KD is a seamless basketball player. Give him an offense, give him a chance to grasp the offense and his teammates' tendencies. Insert, you have buckets.
KD, coming back from a knee injury, will be on a minutes restriction tonight. The already shorthanded Lakers ruled out Anthony Davis against the Thunder tonight due to a right foot stress injury.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and you are tuned in on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, or 1400, or possibly you could be listening anywhere around the world for absolutely free on the iHeartRadio app. You can also see us on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel, and that'll get you into the chat with us here on a Wednesday afternoon. It is... it's basketball season. There's NBA going on. We got conference tournaments beginning in college basketball. We got the Big South tournament this weekend as UNC Asheville will be in action here on the iHeartRadio airwaves.
You'll get to hear me, hopefully, for 3 of those games.
Indeed.
On our sister station, 570 WWNC.
Starting at noon on Friday will be the opener of the UNC Asheville route in the tournament. And then we'll have, of course, your SoCon action all weekend long. It's going to be at Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, and we will have quarterfinals Saturday.
Where you will hear our friend Tanker here doing a whole mess of halftime shows.
That's right. There will be a total of 8 pregame and halftime shows throughout the day on Saturday, and then, of course, on semifinal Sunday. We'll have both of the games there for you as well. And then we're going to be live on scene at Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville on Monday afternoon, leading up to the championship game Monday night. Now,
I will also be there all weekend.
It's also Combine Week as the NFL Combine gets going in Indianapolis, and today's daily draft is all about those Combine busts. The guys that got all the headlines through the Underwear Olympics. And, this really boosted his draft stock. And maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but they ended up getting taken and then did squat in the NFL. Jeremy, this is obviously your honey hole. As
Oh,
you are the evaluator, and you remember way more about the NFL Combine than most of us have ever watched.
Frankly, I'm tempted to let you make the first 5 picks, and then I'll make the next 5.
I don't feel like that would be a bad path to take, but let's see. Let's just see where this takes us. All right, I'm going to take first pick, and I'm going to go with the guy right off the top of my head that when you said Combine busts, I went, oh, well, to me, that would be Darius Hayward-Bay.
Oh, yeah, the receiver that couldn't run a route to save his life. Couldn't catch a cold if you doused him in water and put him in a freezer.
But Al Davis did what Al Davis does and gets, swayed by the lightning-fast 40 time. Darius Hayward-Bay out of Maryland went to the Raiders after he ran a 4.25 40 and had
4.3. Well, that was his official.
Oh, was that the official?
Yeah.
And then had like a 38-inch vertical. They had, oh, this guy just leaps off the page. We've got to draft him. And they took him at what, 8?
8.
Huh.
Had 200 catches in his entire career.
Just beautiful.
Saddest part of that, 64 of them were in 1 year. He was genuinely terrible.
Yeah.
Now, Darius Hayward-Bay was right about the time I started doing draft things. And I remember watching tape on him and just going, what am I missing? So he's 6'2". The body frame is about right, and he can fly. How can nobody figure out he can't catch? Like, at all. Couldn't catch to save his life. If you threw a grenade at him and said it hits the ground, it's going to blow you to pieces, he probably would have already ordered his headstone by the time it got halfway to him. He was awful. But that's not the one I think of.
Okay.
And maybe I'm a little biased.
Okay.
Because this is one that got my team. And I'm not going to lie, it's one that I got. And frankly, I could draft nothing but Jet guys that we have done this with. There was a player, played at a big school. Tape on him was, let's say it left a lot to be desired. But he had one game where he had 3 or 4 sacks. I can't remember which one it was. And then he goes to the combine, 37 bench reps, runs a 4.55. His name was Vernon Golston. The old Ghostin himself. I am reasonably sure that he could have been drafted in the XFL and would have been cut in short order. I don't know that I have ever in my life seen an NFL player that looked more like he had just wandered onto the field, stole a helmet, and went out there and started playing. He looked like Tarzan and played like Jane. He got manhandled by NFL offensive linemen. Manhandled. I mean, he had arms that were as big as my thighs. It didn't matter.
Right.
He is the definition of just because you're athletic does not mean you're going to work in the NFL.
Man, I thought for sure we were getting a looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane reference there.
I said that.
Did you say that?
Did you have a stroke in the middle of that? You looked at it and responded to it. Yeah, that was he was actually the impetus of that line is Vernon Golston.
Is Vernon Golston.
Then we get another. Oddly enough, we have 2 Maryland guys in the first 3 picks here, and we have 2 Raiders. Bruce Campbell. Do you remember Bruce Campbell?
Barely.
So he was a 4th. I think they took him in the 4th round. Totally undraftable. There was nothing he had ever done that made you think he was going to be a legit player in the NFL. But then, as an offensive lineman, he comes out and runs a 4.75. And everybody loses their minds. And I remember there were people talking about him in the 1st round, to which I laughed aggressively. He played 19 games in his entire career. Do you know how many sacks he gave up? In 19 games.
24.
You're too low. It's 34.
Wow.
That is a level of horror awful that I cannot even begin to wrap my head around.
That's pretty bad.
I had to take Vernon Golston, but from here I'm gonna try to leave the obvious ones to you.
The obvious
and
ones.
I'll go the ones that made me laugh a lot.
I love how you go the obvious ones.
Well, I mean, I'm the draft nerd. I have some that this kid shouldn't be drafted in anywhere playing football, and he winds up in the first, second, third round of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I got a doozy coming up.
I'm gonna take this one all the way back to 1995.
Oh, I know who this is.
Where there was a man who did great things. Standing 6'4", 258 pounds, ran a 4.58 40-yard dash, 38.5-inch vertical, 10-foot 5-inch broad jump, and a 28 in the bench press reps. He also, by the way, scored 49 out of 50 on the Wonderlic test.
Which, by the way, means absolutely nothing for anybody that's not a quarterback.
Linebacker Mike Mamula.
Oh, yeah.
1995 draft going to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he spent 6 years with the Eagles and never really did anything.
Nope. He did have 31.5 sacks in 5 years. Now, the only problem with that is that's all he could do. He could only rush a quarterback. That's it. He was the Will McDonald of that draft class. I'm making it sound like I don't like Will McDonald, and I totally do. But 8 is nuts. Which, by the way, if he went at 8, it would be the exact same premise. He goes to the combine, blows it out, and people just ignore everything on tape.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then a guy that I got duped by.
This should be good.
This was 2011, and it's Stephen Paella.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Paella.
Didn't he throw like 50?
49 reps in the bench press, and you went, this is the dude. This is the dude. And, yeah, no.
Yeah, boys and girls, there is a reason that we don't just draft weightlifters when it comes to defensive tackles. Because there were times I wasn't actually sure he knew which direction the game was going.
Mm-hmm. Stuck
but
around.
Man, he was strong.
Right. He was taken in the first round by the Chicago Bears as a defensive tackle, and then ended up never playing a full season in the end. I would take that back. He had one full season, played 16 games one time in a 7-year career in the NFL. And again, never really did amount to much. Had 1 6-sack season. Other than that, he had 2, 1.5 most years. Just didn't live up to the 49 bench press reps that he put up at the combine, threatening the record.
All right, I have 2 receivers in a row. And I'm not going to lie.
It was one of them a Jet. Yeah, I knew this guy was going to come up.
All right, I'll do him first. Stephen Hill.
Yeah.
Let me give you the lineage.
Rambling wreck of Georgia Tech.
Let me give you the lineage of Georgia Tech receivers. We had Calvin Johnson, Megatron, one of the great wide receivers that ever lived. And Demaryius Thomas, Super Bowl champion, fantastic wide receiver. And then there was Stephen Hill, which if you would like me to draw a word picture for you, this would be the 3 dragons that you see in memes where 2 of them look really fierce and angry. And then one of them has its eyes going all googly-eyed frog, and that would be Stephen Hill. He ran a 4.36 at 6'4", and I am reasonably sure that if you had thrown tennis balls at him, he could not have caught them.
Mm-hmm.
They also took him 1 spot ahead of Alshon Jeffrey. Yeah, that worked nice. My other one was a Jacksonville Jaguar, and I actually have a really funny story about this guy that I, under no circumstances, could ever tell on the show. His name is Matt Jones. Do you remember Matt Jones? He played quarterback at Arkansas, and he was a gigantic human being. He was 6'6", 235 pounds, and then ran a 4.37 at the combine. There's only one problem. He had never played receiver in his life. And Jacksonville drafted him to be a receiver. Genuinely awful. He did have 15 touchdowns because he was huge. Went 21st in 2005. But, and I'm going to paraphrase the story that I know about Matt Jones. You know that movie Cocaine Bear? I believe that was Matt Jones' original nickname.
It always comes back to Cocaine Bear.
It does. Greatest movie ever. $25 million first week at the box office. Let's go. That's my people. That's the America I want to live in. Yeah, Matt Jones. He liked to party a lot.
Yep.
He didn't like to practice, but he did like to party.
All right, so you're going Stephen Hill, Matt Jones.
Yes.
Okay, that leaves me with 2 selections here at the end, and you know I'm going Tim Tebow.
Yep. He was on my list.
Tim Tebow has to be on this list. 2010, he went number 25 overall to the Denver Broncos. Look, we know what the guy was in college. He was, I don't know, if he's not one, he's one of the greatest college football players of all time. There's no disputing that. Regardless of what you think about the kid, personal or not, he was one of the greatest college players ever. But he was not a first-round draft pick as a quarterback prospect. Should never have been. And then he obviously put up good numbers at the combine as a running quarterback who could do all of the things. And then he gets into the NFL and, okay, yeah, he won a playoff game with one good throw.
Well, I mean, he was built like Hercules, but he played like Beercules, which is
Beercules?
What are you, a cop?
Is this a thing? Do I have to look this up?
Yeah, it ties into Edward 40 Hands.
What Beercules is? Okay, all right. But we knew that you should have known that the Tim Tebow thing was not going to work. And then, of course, it's a long, long history of him bouncing around the league, never getting another start or a shot at being a starting quarterback in the league. And people to this day still feel like Tim Tebow never got his shot.
There was nobody in the NFL that believed he was a starting quarterback other than Josh McDaniels. It was the only one. Mm-hmm. There's nobody else.
And my final pick was to one of the fastest runners of the 40 time, John Ross.
Yeah, there you go. John Ross was a bust, but for a very specific reason. He was overdrafted because of how fast he was. Mm-hmm. That's not really what makes him a bust.
Because he can't stay healthy?
Because I can't remember the exact number. I think 27 teams didn't even have him on their board because he had a degenerative issue in his knee that there were teams that wouldn't have taken him in the 7th round, let alone take him at, 9?
Something like that.
That's where that became insane. If you had taken him in the 3rd round, nobody would have really had a problem with it because he did have talent. He also had a knee that basically, from what I've been told, any doctor that ever looked at it would have told you that's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you. I mean, you had to take him.
Well, yeah.
And I'm glad you did.
I mean, he's the all-time record holder for the fastest 40 time at the Combine and then proceeded to have a career where he played 37 games and caught 62 balls.
Oh, you left me with 2, though. I went a little more deep-divey. All right, my honorable mention would be Taylor Mays.
Okay.
He was a 6'3" safety that could absolutely fly. The only problem is that he had the football IQ of the can of rain I'm currently drinking out of. Could have been the nicest guy on the planet. Did not understand how to play the safety position. Super crazy athletic. But didn't really translate. I'm going to go with one Mr. Trung candidate. Do you remember him?
Blast from the past.
Oh, yeah. That was in 2000. He was the he was the last pick of the 1st round. So this is a team that already had Marshall Faulk. And it wasn't, it wound up being closer to the end, but nobody really knew that. Mike Martz loved him. Then he runs a 4.28 or something like that. Do you know how many carries he had in his life?
No.
Played 3 years. He had 600 rushing yards. He had 98 carries.
Wow.
In St. Louis.
Yeah.
He had 98 carries. For a 1st-round pick, that's borderline unheard of.
Right.
At that time, a 1st-round pick running back could do that in 5 games. He did it in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, he was fast, but he was also little, and he fell down the minute somebody looked at him the wrong way. But, man, he was fun to play with in Madden.
And that's all well and good, but that's not going to help out an NFL franchise. So the question is, who gets got? Who gets got by the combine performance this year? I mean, all signs point to it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders if they're so dead set on taking Anthony Richardson.
Well, it's not so much – I mean, and this is just the reason we want to do this is because it's something to remember as you're watching the combine. If you look at the 10 fastest 40 times of all time, I could make a legitimate argument that none of the guys on that list were actually good NFL players. I mean, I think Tariq Woolen will be.
Mm-hmm. Even Chris Johnson.
Oh, CJ 6H?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was good for about an hour, and then the league figured him out. As soon as they figured out, just don't let him bounce to the outside. All you have to do is just blister down those ends. And if he has to run between a guard, he is absolutely irrelevant. League figured that out when he played for my team. Yeah, I'm shocked I don't have a bald spot that came from CJ 6H.
He had kind of passed his prime at that point, right?
That was his 5th year in the league.
Was it?
Yeah, he only did this for a very short period of time.
I mean, I knew that, but I felt like it was a little longer than just 7 years.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, I think he was only in the league for I'll look it up.
Mm-hmm.
It was not long at all.
Right.
I mean, he's only 37 right now. And he hadn't played in I forgot about Arizona. He played for 3 extra years with Arizona. It was awful.
He wasn't awful. Was
he
he?
had 1,000 yards in 3 years.
Oh,
yeah, that's not good.
That was awful.
Yeah, that's not
maybe
good.
Maybe he was awful. Look, he was good with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, he played 6 years with the Titans and then played a year with the Jets. And then had those 3 fun years in Arizona of, you're still in the league. You shouldn't be, but he averaged I'm doing math. 3.7 yards a carry in Arizona.
Good for him.
Ugh.
All right, biggest combine bust. There it is. Here in the Sportsocracy, we'll continue your combine coverage, of course, tomorrow here in the Sportsocracy as everything gets ramped up for the big weekend.
And Thursday and Friday, we will be on air as the workouts are happening. 2 of our favorite days of the year.
You got to find you a TV somewhere to get close.
Don't worry. That's already been.
It's already been.
And now that I have my lovely Pro 4X 2023 Nissan Titan, it will not be hard to get over here either.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville. When we come back for the break, the offseason preview for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go between Royal Pines Drive and Mills Gap Road. Light delays Hendersonville Road southbound between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road. Delays near Avery Creek Boulevard Road northbound between Ledbetter Road and Clayton Road. Traffic is stop and go. And then between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway on Boulevard Road, traffic is stop and go north and southbound. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is sorry for going too far with its past breakfast. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food, like a breakfast crunch wrap, fluffy eggs, cheese, sausage, hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Grab one at participating Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last.
This week on The Marketer's Report, Patrizio Spagnoletto, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on building trust.
Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the on-air talent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
This is G. Daron, voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
We're back in the Sportsocracy. Time to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers off-season. No more Tom Brady, and you're $55 million over the cap. You got to pay $35 million to Tom Brady this year not to play for you because you restructured the contract thusly. He has now filed his retirement paperwork with the league, and you're on the hook for that full $35 million. So now you have to take all of the cuts that are coming with that, which means they've already announced that Donovan Smith's probably going to get cut. Can't make it official just yet, but that all signs point to Donovan Smith gone. That'll save them $16 million on the salary cap. They saved another $6 million, I think it was, by cutting loose Leonard Fournette.
When Leonard Fournette, did you hear his quote?
Oh, that it was his idea.
That he asked for his release. He said, "My guy Tom Brady's gone, so it's time for me to get out of here."
Yeah.
Yeah, Lenny, I don't necessarily think your market's going to be as deep as you want it to be.
No. Nobody's giving him a decent amount.
$2.5 million a year.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's about what he's worth.
Mm-hmm. And those are just the first two cuts. There are other cuts that could come down the line.
They're going to come down the line.
Oh, of course.
The question is, are you going to be able to keep either Jamel Dean or Levante David, who are both top 10 free agents in this class?
No, sir.
And I would agree.
No.
I would agree.
The Levante David run, it was fun while it lasted, but it has come to an end. He wants to stay in Tampa Bay, but I don't think he's going to be, he's, 31? Something like that?
Something of that nature.
He's got a few more years left.
He's 33.
He's 33. Okay. He's got a few more years left. He's still got some gas in the tank. He's still one of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL. And now you're going to have to see him part. I was just having this discussion with my dad earlier today of, it's going to be weird, but we went through this with Sapp. We went through this with Lynch. We've gone through this with so many players in the past. Not everybody can spend their entire career with one team. It's going to be weird to see that happen, but it's a necessity. You no longer have a championship window, as much as you want to believe that you do, and now you have to make some decisions. So do you try to get a quarterback in the draft, or do you try to get a quarterback in free agency, or you just roll with Kyle Trask and see what happens?
Or you do what Outkick just opined of, you've got Kyle Trask, you give him a little competition in the form of
Blaine Gabbert,
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, God. Stop that.
I don't ask for much. I am a simple man.
Blaine Gabbert.
But Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would make me so happy.
Of course it would, because you enjoy my sadness.
Yeah, because you thoroughly enjoyed mine, and you enjoyed rubbing your success in my face, which means in these dark ages, I'm going to have just a great deal of fun.
Right, I've been living on the FAFO scale for a while. So what do you see Tampa doing? What is the number one must-have in the offseason?
You're not going to like my answer.
Okay.
Blow it up. I mean, you got two options here, and I've watched teams do both of these things. Name me the young players that you feel really good about.
Oh, Devin White.
Do you, though?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really, though?
Yeah, I know. I'm not really concerned that he's not a good coverage linebacker.
He's
been good
genuine.
at all the other things.
He's never had a really high-level year. He has stretches. In the Super Bowl year, he had a 4-game stretch where he was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's a bust at this point. Because I can't believe he's not any better than he is. He's so unbelievably athletic.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many lapses and just really bad tape.
Mm-hmm. This past year was not a banner year.
I got to one.
Antoine Winfield.
That's it. I do not feel good about another young player you have. Tristan Wirfs, he's a right tackle, who may end up having to play left tackle now. And I never liked him on that side. That was the reason I had him behind Mekhi Becton, behind there was another one in that class. I can't remember who it was. I had him behind them all because I felt like he was shoehorned to playing right tackle. So you've got Mike Evans, who is
Jedrick Wills, I think was the one
Jedrick
you were
Wills,
thinking of.
who I didn't love either. But you got Mike Evans that's coming up on 30. How long do you think he's going to enjoy the Kyle Trask, Blaine Gabbert, Baker Mayfield roulette wheel? Chris Godwin, same thing. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And the Tampa Tribune put out a big, well, this is how we can get under the cap and still actually be active in free agency. All you're doing is kicking this can down the road. You because it was restructuring Vita Vea and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. The thing about restructures, they're like refinances on your mortgage. Yeah, you can do it. And it'll give you a nice little relief right now. But it comes at a cost. And I just don't see a path for Tampa Bay to be competitive at any point in the next 3 years.
Right.
I mean, I think you're a 5-win football team for the next 3 years. And that's the cost of going as all in as I have seen a team go in a long time. You had to know it was coming.
Yeah.
So now the thing that would bother me, if I were you, and I'm really not trying to squeeze lemon into this wound, the thing that would bother me, you don't draft well. Just in large parts, you do not draft well. You hit about one guy a year. You're going to have to hit that percentage is going to have to get aggressively higher. When you hit a home run, you hit a home run. Winfield is a home run. He also plays a position that's not super valuable. You've got two good receivers. Never been able to add a left tackle. Had to go chase a center in free agency. Edge rusher has been inconsistent. Remember that thing I said about Joe Tryon-Choyenko? You're starting to see maybe what I was talking about. But, I mean, there's still valuable assets. You just have to you're catching $35 million on Tom Brady for absolutely nothing. So this is the year to offload all those deals and just be bad. Catch it in a year. If Mike Evans wants out, let him out. I know there's going to be dead cap hits, and teams never do this because, well, the fans won't buy tickets. A, that does not matter. B, they will if you're good. And your quickest route to doing that is just by blowing it up. So my hope for you, at least, because secretly, I don't want you to just be terrible. I would like you to experience a year of just pure pain and sadness.
Because I haven't had enough of that over the
but I didn't get to experience that.
40 years.
The
3
40
years that I've been a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, but I didn't get to see you see it happen.
Oh, okay.
So I had to deal with the Brady years. You get to this is the wiffle ball bat.
Oh, come on, we had fun with Jameis Winston in his 30 for 30 year and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a long time ago. I need another one of those.
It's got to come back. It's only been 3 years since you guys were dog water.
But my fear is that you're going to find some way to cobble this together with whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo or whoever you find that will take the money, Geno Smith, and you're just going to push this down the road, and you're never going to be competitive. Could you make the back end of the playoffs that way? Sure, and you will get annihilated by the high-end teams in this conference, which there's not a ton of. So, I mean, I would at least get the idea of if we can stay competitive, the NFC's so far down that maybe we could sneak a playoff win.
Right.
That's the best you could ever hope for.
Right. To me, the question is it worth it to chase division championships? Because at this point, that's the only thing you're chasing.
This is the primary team in the NFL, number one with a bullet. They should be looking at that quarterback class next year going, that's all I care about.
Absolutely.
I want to be awful. And you go to Mike Evans, you go to Chris Godwin and go, look, you're the two we're holding on to. Everything else is not nailed to the ground, could possibly not be here in a year. But in 1 year, we're going to pick in the top three, and one of those two guys is going to come be your quarterback, and you're set for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my path. Whether they go that way or not, I don't know.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Quick break, and then it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Another day of warm 70s in the forecast today to get March underway. Not too far off of records. We'll cool down a little bit into the weekend and bring in some pretty good rains here tonight. Some half-inch rains after midnight tonight. 55 degrees our low. Morning showers Thursday, 66. Thunderstorms Friday, 60 degrees. And then briefly cooler top of the weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound between Ledbetter Road and Long Shoals Road is very busy. Boulevard Road southbound from Clayton Road to Long Shoals Road, traffic is slowing. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Biltmore Forest area and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lineman Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is sorry for going too far with its past breakfast. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food, like a breakfast crunch wrap, fluffy eggs, cheese, sausage, hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Grab one at participating Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last.
Need weekend plans? Check out what's happening in your local Lowe's. Weekending at Lowe's gives you and your family the opportunity to make us your weekend destination. Stop by for free workshops, events, and activities for everyone to enjoy. We're getting active with fun local events like our upcoming Lowe's Bucket Ball Challenge and Kids Workshop. Visit Lowe's.com/events for our full event lineup. Count on Lowe's for all of your home improvement needs. And now, activities in your community with Weekending at Lowe's.
The madness starts this week. It's college basketball tournament week on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville. We get it started Friday at 11:30 on ESPN Asheville with the Bulldogs opening game in the Big South tournament from Charlotte. The Southern Conference tournament gets rolling on Saturday on ESPN Asheville with quarterfinal action and continuing on News Radio 570, WWNC through Sunday. So tune in this weekend to catch all the action. Our Big South and SoCon tournament coverage is brought to you by Ingalls Markets. Low prices, love the savings.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
Did you know that Ingalls sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
We are back in the Sportsocracy in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Crimes were done in New York. Who's shocked?
No one.
No one.
No one ever.
Early this morning is when this took place, where a man is in trouble because, well, he took a window of opportunity. You know, when opportunity knocks, this man said, I shall not let it pass.
He said, hey, hi, how you doing?
So this guy who has been charged he's 43 years old, and he was, for some reason, at the JFK airport around 2 o'clock this morning. He was walking through the parking lot, which, look, I don't have a whole lot of experience with major airport parking lots, okay?
Oh, I do.
But I have driven through the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport parking lot in Atlanta, and that is a friggin' nightmare.
Basically anything that has to do with the Atlanta airport is the kind of thing that haunts my nightmares.
Now, JFK, I think, is probably a little bigger.
I've never had an issue with any airport in New York.
Really?
Nope. JFK, LaGuardia, we just right through them every time.
All right.
There are 2 that are Atlanta, 3. Atlanta, O'Hare, and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmares. Been awful every time I've ever had to go through them.
Okay. Well, outside of the JFK airport, lot 12 at the Queens Hub, shortly before 2 a.m., this man was walking by and he saw an American Airlines bus, and nobody was in it. The door was open, and it was running. So
oh no,
he did what you have to do when you see an opportunity like this. He got in the bus, and he took off. The guy took off, and I don't know how long it was before it got reported to the police, but the guy made it all the way down the Grand Central Parkway into Manhattan, then drove southbound on the FDR until he was eventually caught at the Cadman Plaza West at Midall Street. I had to pull it up on a map. There's only about 20 miles total. Drive time in New York is about an hour and a half for this. 2 o'clock in the morning, obviously, it's not gonna be that long of a trip. But I can't imagine it's just in and out like
nope.
Just 2 o'clock in the morning, we made it easy,
is.
One side of the town to the other in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't care what time of day it is in New York. Nothing is quick.
The guy made it 20-something miles before he was finally pulled over and charged. The charges are pending. His name was not immediately released, but he does apparently have a lengthy criminal history. Who's shocked by that? Although, interestingly enough, no grand theft on that on that history. So he's branching out into new territory.
This is not the way you want to do that.
No.
My story comes from Saginaw, Michigan, and I have to give credit to one Mr. Kelvin Joyner who put this in our Discord server. And I had another story, but I can tell that one tomorrow because this is hilarious. 34-year-old man in Michigan. He felt a crime had been committed in his house.
Okay.
And so he did the only thing that a good citizen would do. He called 911. Mm-hmm. So police responded to his home in the 2100 block of Brockway Street. This was at 8 a.m. That is an important facet of this story.
Okay, 8 a.m.
Police come to the house, knock on the door. He opens the door. 34-year-old man, 24-year-old woman. There has been no altercation between these two, but there has been a dispute.
Okay.
The man claims that he paid this 24-year-old woman $10, which is, to me, the funniest part of the story, for a act of an adult nature.
Okay.
And she had refused to perform it. And he wanted the police to make her give his money back.
She owes me $10.
They went, wait. So what you're saying is that you paid someone else for a thing. A thing.
A hum-num? I've never called it that before, but okay.
He paid somebody for a thing that you shouldn't have. Well, that is prostitution. And so the man was arrested and charged with soliciting a prostitute.
Okay.
And accosting a prostitute, which apparently in Michigan that has its own crime. The woman was charged with prostitution. Both were out on bond for prior offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So they had been brought back in because they committed new crimes, and now they're both being detained with no bond.
Wow.
So here's I feel like we do a story like this about once a month. If you do crimes and the person that you attempted to do crimes with does not want to do crimes, you probably shouldn't call the cops.
But she stole my money.
I gave her 2 5s.
Right.
And I'm going to require those back.
You called the cops for $10. Like at that point, just go, oh, okay, go buy you a pack of smokes, hon.
Yeah.
We'll call it even.
We'll call it a day.
Although maybe in Michigan, smokes are more than that now.
Just want to know a hug? Like, what in the world? I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Could be a hug of a certain kind.
I have personally never, that's just, okay. I live by a simple mantra. Don't do crimes. That is crimes.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, our off-season fantasy. It was not fantasy time yet, although it should be. Free agency period is what I was looking for there. It's got to go one more page in the mental dictionary. The free agency period getting underway here, and we've talked about every position group except for defensive tackles.
You got 14 more minutes.
I'm trying to hold it together here.
Maybe take you a swig of coffee, see if you can get through the end of this. Because we're headed down a path here.
Yep, better now.
There we go.
Free agency defensive tackles. How do you rank them?
Javon Hargrave is 1, 2, and 4. And I'm not sure that Philadelphia's going to be able to bring him back. They're going to have to make choices because they have so many free agents.
Mm-hmm.
8 of their 11 defensive starters are heading into free agency.
But do you, is Javon Hargrave not a guy that you franchise tag?
No. I don't think you do. I mean, it's the more I've thought about it, it's less ridiculous than I thought it was when you said it.
I mean, to me, he's one of those that you franchise tag and then hope you can get a deal.
It's not the worst idea.
Right, like I'm not going to lose him on the open market because he will get nanners money.
Oh, it would be ridiculous.
Right, I mean
he's only 30 years old.
Cleveland Browns throw him whatever. The Chicago Bears.
The Bears have been the team I've had penciled in on Javon Hargrave. I mean, because they're going to spend money on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be 130% of market to get them to come play in Chicago. So, I mean, if he hits the open market, he will be the big free agent signing of the offseason. But it doesn't really stop there. I mean, you got Fletcher Cox, who, he's 32, but I think he's got, a few more years of good football in him. I would be stunned if it was in Philadelphia. I mean, they had a separating of ways that was headed last year, and then they reconciled for this year, made the run to the Super Bowl. Dalvin Tomlinson from Minnesota. It bothers me that he's played for as many teams as he has. He seems to bounce around this league, which is unsettling. And then you get into David Onyemata, of which he's not a household name, but he is Saints fans that are in our YouTube chat, because they are every day, and we love them for it. We'll comment on he's a talented player. He doesn't get the high-end respect that he deserves because there's so many players on that defense that get it over him. But, I mean, defensive tackle is pretty deep. It's a pretty deep position.
Mm-hmm.
It just had Michael Brockers added to it when he was released by the Detroit Lions. Would not be shocked if you saw a reunion in L.A. for him.
Does he still have gas left in the tank?
He's 32 years old.
He's 32.
He's lived hurt. I mean, and that's been a big knock on him.
Right.
And then you get into the Jerry Tillerys and Taven Bryan, who I'm just dumbfounded he's as young as he is. I feel like Jacksonville took Taven Bryan like 15 years ago. Somehow he's 27 years old.
Is this one of those that grades on your nerves? Is that what you're saying?
I've never been able to figure out how in the world did anybody look at him and go, yeah, that'll be great. Let's do that.
I'm trying to shade off Sheldon Rankins so nobody else jumps on him. You want him back with your New York Jets?
I think he's coming back. He just fits in that. He fits in that scheme so well, and there's not really necessarily a fit for him in that system anywhere else, unless he wound up in Houston, which I don't necessarily think that's what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He and Quinnen Williams playing next to each other was very productive. And I think there will be a reunion there, but it's entirely possible that there's not.
Well, the defensive tackle free agency market did take a hit when the Washington Commanders decided to franchise tag Daron Payne,
And
taking
you
a
had
big.
to.
Oh, of course you did. But it took a big name off of the board for teams that are going to be in that market. So the price just went up for everybody else.
Well, I mean, there was nobody that saw that move and was more. If you're not a Washington Commander fan, the next most excited person on the planet was Javon Hargrave, who went, "Yay! Now everyone will call me."
Daron Payne gets the franchise tag. They're going to pay him $18.9 million for the upcoming season. Hopefully get a long-term contract. You just couldn't split up that defensive line.
No.
That defensive line is incredible.
Well, I mean, because that's how the team's built. And with Philadelphia, I'll be really honest with you. You asked me about Javon Hargrave.
Mm-hmm.
If Jonathan Gannon was still there, I would say there was more of a likelihood they would franchise Javon Hargrave. I'm not sure that defense is going to look exactly the same. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson taking shots at him on Twitter probably didn't help his cause to come back.
Yeah.
Did you see what I'm talking about?
No.
Gannon had said something about there was an interview in Arizona of what went wrong in the Super Bowl, and he was trying to calm the fears of Arizona because the last time a coordinator had been hired going into the Super Bowl and his defense just got annihilated, it was Pat Matricia.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently there was what's different about you? And he said, well, we failed to make some plays. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was not having it. Well, you didn't put us in a position to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
You can blame us all you want to, but there was a whole lot of problem with you.
So blaming the scheme and not the execution. Shocker that a player would do that.
Doing it out loud is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And doing it when you're sitting around with your buddies, that's one thing. It's a complete another when you're going into free agency.
That's
a
the one.
bad look.
That's the one that gets me. Like, you're going to be on the market and you think other teams are going to look at that and go, yeah, we want that guy, because he's just going to blame us when it goes wrong. You're in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. We'll be back to close it out on a Wednesday next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road, north and southbound, approaching Long Shoals Road, stop and go. Again, Bavard Road northbound slow, approaching Clayton Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Hendersonville Road, southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road, southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. In Hendersonville, Chimney Rock Road near Fruitland Road, an accident causing delays both directions. Also on Chimney Rock Road near Pace Drive, seeing delays both directions. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is sorry for going too far with its past breakfast. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food, like a breakfast crunch wrap, fluffy eggs, cheese, sausage, hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Grab one at participating Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last.
Hey, it's Nate Burleson. Check out my new podcast, The Process with Nate Burleson. It debuts with my first guest, Rihanna. Her interview was just a taste of the heat we will bring you here on The Process. I'll talk to A-list celebrities, athletes, and visionaries about their process. What steps did they take to achieve greatness? New episodes of The Process with Nate Burleson drop all year long on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March the 2nd through the 6th for the 2023 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite teams compete for the championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. While you're there, visit the Ingalls Fan Zone at the tournament for lots of fun, games, prizes, and more. The 2023 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. For more information, visit SoConHoops.com. That's SoConHoops.com.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and the Carolina Panthers are one of those teams in the offseason that has to make a decision on a quarterback. Right now, you have one quarterback under contract for next year, and it's Matt Corral. So what are you going to do? Are you going to bring back Sam Darnold?
That would be my assumption.
Or are you going to spend money? And are you going to go out and get one of these veterans? Derek Carr. To me, Derek Carr, I think, should be the path the Carolina Panthers need to go down. If they want to seize the NFC South and build something for the future, this is the best veteran quarterback that Frank Reich could hope for. Oh, well, he's tired of having the revolving door of veteran quarterbacks. Okay, well, he had, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and then Matt Ryan. Derek Carr is head and shoulders above all of those guys.
Derek Carr gets a lot of hate, and I just don't really understand it. In the last 5 years, do you know what the worst he's finished in QBR is?
13.
14. Twice. Never been better than 10th. But the thing I don't understand with Carolina is they're basically coming out and saying we're not going to pay him $40 million. Well, then you're not going to sign him.
No.
Because the Jets will. The Jets will, the Saints will. So I feel like the meeting with him tells me that some of the stories we've heard are a little bit of smoke, but they are still going to want him at 35. And I'll go ahead and tell you, if I can get Derek Carr for $35 million, in.
Yeah, not even
for any of
about
these
it.
teams. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, not even thinking
Is
about
he
it.
great? No. Is he better than anybody else you could feasibly attain this year would be? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Derek Carr met with the Carolina Panthers yesterday in Indianapolis as the combine opens up. David Tepper was in the room for the meeting, so that might give you a sign that they want to sign him. Hopefully they do. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Join you again tomorrow from the Ingalls studio at 3 o'clock.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Another day of warm 70s in the forecast today to get March underway. Not too far off of records. We'll cool down a little bit into the weekend. and bring in some pretty good rains here tonight. Some half-inch rains after midnight tonight. 55 degrees our low. Morning showers Thursday, 66. Thunderstorms Friday, 60 degrees, and then briefly cooler top of the weekend. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County slow between NC 209 and US 276. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road north and southbound expect delays between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. In Hendersonville, Chimney Rock Road near Fruitland Road, an accident delays both directions. Near Edneyville, Chimney Rock Road near Pace Drive, seeing delays. I'm Lindenfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is sorry for going too far with its past breakfast. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food, like a breakfast crunch wrap, fluffy eggs, cheese, sausage, hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Grab one at participating Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Wayne.